internet. Zach's buffering, and so is Bronze, but I am ready
I'm totally
to go.
not super upset right now that my phone wasn't taking a picture. It's just a fucking photo. You are only a 1-year-old phone, you piece of shit.
So, if you want to go on Twitter
So
right
mad.
now, you'll see that Zach just tweeted a short video of himself complaining that he could not take a picture of the three of
It's
us.
stupid. It's like an 800. What?
Oh, we just got started.
What?
Subscriber.
Guys, we're getting really close to 1550, which is a giant giveaway that we'll throw a bunch of comic books into if it happens during this show. If it happens during this show, it's a comic book giveaway. You know what? I bet I've got... Ooh.
You're just gonna start grabbing.
Start grabbing shit off the shelf and
I'll throw
throwing
this
it.
in.
Whoa.
Boom. I'll throw this in there.
Ooh, Tit on Under, thank you for the resub.
I'll throw in a
Ooh.
Jack Kirby book. And
Simon and Kirby Sci-Fi?
What else do I want to go
Ooh.
in there?
Alright, I'm gonna look at this as long as I can before you give it away.
What? You should throw this in there since I just read it.
Oh,
You guys-
super good.
Jack Kirby really is the king.
We'll throw this in there too.
fucking great.
The
Because
Death-Defying
Valiant.
Dr. Mirage.
Ooh,
So-
that's a good trade.
I think we're like 6 subs away.
Is that it?
Yeah.
We're
Okay,
close.
because yesterday I was like flipping on the channel and it was like, yo, the day's barely started. Here's fucking 1500. Now here we are already at
Almost
1550.
Yeah.
So we'll throw in some awesome comic book stuff like that. So for those that don't know, I'm sure you've seen me do that stupid video a couple times, but we're 5 away.
We're only 5 away.
Holy shit. Holy shit.
That's so close.
So basically what this means, guys, today is the day you should subscribe. And if
For
you're
so
not
many
subscribed, here, see, there's a couple people that I see are regulars in here, and they're like, oh, I want to subscribe, and I can't, blah, 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 because I can't afford to right now, and we understand that. But now you have no now things are different. So Saginosin, Steverus, Zether, Master Malicious, now
Calling them
things
out.
are different. Because you can sign up for a free 30-day trial of Amazon Prime, and they will give you a free subscription. You just hit that, like, you go up to the top right. Where am I on screen? You go up to the top right. Is that where? I'm trying to think.
I don't know
I'm
if
on
you
this
mirrored
side,
or not.
right there. Go up to the top right and click subscribe, and you'll see an option now to sign up for free for 30 days of Amazon Prime. By doing so, you will get Streamline, which is a $20 game. Boom, in your inbox for free. For free! And it has a Hyper RPG shirt. This exact shirt in the game. They made it for us, and they put it in the game as part
That's
of Twitch
sweet.
Prime, which is pretty rad. Then you get a bunch of other add-ons for other games, plus 20% off your orders for any physical games this month, and a free subscription token to use on the channel of your choice, but of course you're gonna use
But
it
wait,
here.
there's more. If you have a .edu or college affiliated email, not only can you get Twitch Prime Student Edition, or sorry, not Twitch Prime, Amazon Prime Student Edition for a highly discounted price, but you can get 3 months of free Amazon Prime.
Damn.
So if you're in school,
And the reason you need to do it today, the reason I'm saying that you should do it today, and there's no excuses, do it today, is because if you do it today, it goes matched towards charity from Amazon. Today is the last day. Today should be a fucking sub drive day, for fuck's sake, because every 100,000 subscribers is $100,000 a game changer. As of this morning, they're up to $400,000.
Damn.
Now that also counts for resubscriptions and new subscriptions that aren't Twitch Prime. Anything.
Oh.
Any subscription interaction on Twitch whatsoever is helping towards that goal of charity. So today's the day. This is definitely the day you need to subscribe. Stever says, I tried and Amazon won't let me. What bullshit?
you have to
Try
sync
again.
your accounts under
Yeah,
your
sync your
account
accounts.
settings.
To donation. You never brought us our tablet back for alerts.
Aliens and Gotham hype.
Oh yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah.
We definitely will.
Durun, subscribe to Twitch Prime!
Subscribe to sub. All right, some of the music
Okay, that
isn't
music
quite ready
isn't-
for
And we
Twitch
also,
Prime,
you
so-
guys forgot to bring us.
Subscriber.
Our alert thing was taken away from us and it hasn't come back yet.
I've never ended it with a dab before.
Oh, should we always end it with a dab?
Don't take this from me!
No, I
Good.
can't.
We're a
was
team,
my
Bronze.
thing.
Why do you gotta be like like we're a team, dude?
Solo Bronzo.
Yeah, that
There
is
you go.
no.
If I were to end it
Never
with
be
a
more
dab,
true.
it would
Rai
be...
Rai knows.
That would
Rai Rai
mean-
had to experience.
Also, Rai Rai,
Solo
no one
Bronzo
else has
firsthand.
responded to us, and I've said 3 times now. Can we get our alert box thing in here? The tablet? That would be really great.
So I've seen a lot of messages in the chat about this shirt, and yes, the Keep Calm and Feed the Arm shirt did
I
come.
haven't gotten mine.
That's because I ordered mine the second I knew it existed.
But
They will be
print and
coming
ship
in.
at the same time.
Do they do them all?
Hey!
Already did my prime, but I really want you all to dance, but this is good too. Hash Mech of the Week 1, hashtag DF, hashtag Renraku.
Oh, thank you for
Thank
that.
you. We'll be
Thank
doing
you so
plenty of
much.
dancing, so
We'll be
you
doing
won't be
plenty
missing
of
out.
dancing today. There'll be lots of it going down. Thank you, Emily, for bringing that in. Very much
I'm
appreciated.
just doing finger dances anyway.
Just always.
So.
So as you guys get your Keep Calm and Feed the Arm shirts, please take pictures and tweet them to us because we think that shit's cool.
And it doesn't have to be a credit card. It can be a debit card, or you can also use one of those temporary cards that you can buy at like gas stations and stuff. Those like
Oh, yeah.
prepaid debit cards where you just put a little money on a debit card and you get a number. It works.
Oh, it was
but-
$375.
Yeah, it was $375 for the Mech of the Week, which is amazing.
That's crazy.
Amazing. Thank you for that. Those things are really expensive.
If
Those
I-
mechs that we buy.
If I was
They're
a
so
mech
expensive.
pilot, my call sign would be Jin, which white people call the Jin, and my mech would be called the Rakshas. And it would have a Rakshas's face on it, and the palms would face upside down, like a Rakshas.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I have a bone to pick.
All right. Cool.
I have it right here. Here it goes. You ready?
Sure. We're always ready for this.
Here it goes. This is the honesty minute with that bronze girl.
I didn't schedule that, but let's do it.
I get it. Luke Cage came out. I don't look like Rosario Dawson, so stop tweeting me about it.
Why did
okay?
you just bring that up? Now that's all they're going to talk about.
But it's happening
this.
anyway.
Yeah, but you're just like you're like giving them a reason to continue.
But it's already happened.
You noticed
in
it.
my
Senpai
stream
noticed it.
at
Yes,
TwitchCon
yes, there is
on my
a
Twitter.
fire. You know what you just did?
Why?
You just dumped
Stoked it.
all that fuel on it. So much
She's-
fuel on the
If I
fire.
look like Rosario Dawson, why am I not in the Luke
I
Cage
think-
show? Answer me that.
Because you're not good enough.
That's not how. That's also not
What?
how
I
resemblance
mean,
works.
that's not like 20 years of acting experience.
I mean,
on
Zach
your
looks
ass.
like 50 different actors on TV right now. Like,
Well, I'm a forgettable white guy face.
yeah, he's like
Thanks.
he's got that white guy face. Like, there's a million actors you look like, and he's not them because he's not them.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. At least someone loves me. Could you just
I'm
replace him
living
on the
proof
show?
that we can all have dreams of being Marvel things. Just saying.
let's do it.
Oh my
That's true.
god. Oh my god.
Well, no,
so
because
you
the
found
star
a
of
way.
Iron Man
You
3.
found a way to act as if you actually gave a shit about Bronze while simultaneously reminding everyone.
Money.
Thank you for that. The Humble Bundle Company of Heroes 10th Anniversary Bundle was just released today, and you can support Hyper RPG. But wow, she acted as if she wanted to like
she
feel
was like,
for
I'm
you,
gonna come home,
but was
Bronzy,
just
and
like,
then she
"Oh,
just dropped
by the
that.
way, I was in Iron Man 3, so you can keep dreaming.
In case I hadn't brought it up on air recently.
Yeah.
You know
just in
what?
case.
Malika's a big inspiration to me, so.
Oh my god, do not
You know?
feed that ego.
I
Do
don't know
not
she
feed
is.
that
She's
ego.
a great inspiration to me, and
Oh,
every
that
day I
ego
question,
though.
why she loves you.
Oh, that's actually one of the first things you said to me. You're like, when I saw you with her, I was like, how did he get that girl?
Did I? No, I didn't
Yes.
say that.
I'm pretty sure you did.
I did
you
not
were drunk
know. No. I probably didn't say it that meanly.
See, I know you're thinking that's the kind of thing I would
okay,
say.
the thing is, I'm the super sweetheart, except to people who can take it, and Zach can take it. So I probably did say it to you that way.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
I threatened to.
Then
Bury you.
with the shovel. So
I'm not gonna do it with my bare hands.
I think the thing is your voice is very similar to hers too, so it creates that link. You have a similar voice
To Malika?
to Rosario Dawson.
Oh, that makes more sense. Probably.
Yeah, you have when
My
especially
brother
when you're
thinks I
talking
look like
slower
her.
and just a little lower, it's
Yeah.
right in that same range.
Well, I'm gonna just start auditioning. If Rosario can do it, so can I. If Malika can do it, so can I. Hey, girl.
Just ask yourself, what would Malika do?
Mm-hmm.
That's how you should live your life.
WWMD.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
we've just gone way too far down the Malika ego train, so
any of
let's get back on this.
any
Zach
of you who
ego
don't
train.
know what this is, we're sorry for what you just experienced. But this is graphic content where we do this. We talk about comic books. We're gonna read a comic book. We're gonna talk about some comic book news. You tell us what you like, and we will respond to it possibly. We're gonna possibly talk about Vanquished if we have time.
Yeah, if we have, I think we will have time.
We forgot to last
We
week,
forgot
but that's
last
okay. But today's read-through is Batman Aliens by Ron Mars.
So, man, I'm gonna do my best. By the end of the show, if my voice is gone, I apologize. I'm like right on that oof. I'm just like this
That's
close
why
to
I'm
losing
doing
it in a
Batman.
second. That's right. You're doing I could definitely not do the Batman
Cannot do
voice
Batman today.
Holy shit.
So yes,
It's
our
really
Batman
close.
today is, of course, Bronze.
Me. Because
And-
my
and you'll be
Batman
doing-
impression is pretty
Yeah, you'll be doing your
famous.
best Christian Bale the whole time, right?
Yes.
Good.
Best.
In this book, there aren't that many characters.
I get this once a day now. Let's go ahead and address it now. Lord Prim, I ran Geek and Sundry. For a year, I built it from the ground up with my own 2 hands. And then I left it to die out in the wind and came here to birth this creation that is Hyper RPG. My second son. The middle child's always the favorite. Oh, wait, is this middle? No, this will be the last. I have to start another one.
You
and
just
then go
basically
back.
implied you're leaving us soon.
No, that's not what I meant.
What's
The
this
youngest.
new child we have to start
The
being
youngest-
jealous of?
The youngest child. We'll say the youngest child. The
Yes,
newest.
yes, I did. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Alright. So we're gonna have the Aliens score playing while we read this today.
Oh,
Good.
very nice. I've been wanting to do this for a while, so I'm pretty excited.
So in this book, Bronze will be playing Batman.
Mm-hmm.
I will be playing the guy,
Mm-hmm.
and Zach will be playing the woman in this book, who, as far as I can tell, because I did not read it yet,
Yes.
don't know what their names are. And that's basically the whole cast. There are a few extra random characters that will fill in, but, but mostly it's going to be Bronze as Christian Bale's Batman.
Right.
That's mostly what we're here for.
You'll get tired of it about 3 pages in, I promise.
Nope.
you.
Challenge
Will not.
accepted.
Will not. Will not. Okay. So let's get right into it. Batman's Aliens, Part 1. Now this is part of the book you had bought. This is
Yes, I have the compilation because
This
this
is the
happened more than
compilation
once.
Yeah.
digital copy. I couldn't find the original digital copy of this.
Oh,
so I had to. Hey!
Money.
Thumbers, it's time for comics, great hosts, and fun. Use your Prime sub today, it'll help a ton. Get ready for a great show and get on the hype van. Because today we have Aliens vs. Batman. Hashtag Thumper Pride, hashtag Prosperous Rhymes.
I
Aw.
like that cute little
Prosperous
rhyme.
Rhymes killing it these last couple days. Absolutely destroying. Destroying. I'm ready for your album.
Yeah.
Let's see that
When you
shit.
dropping that mixtape.
Are we going to talk about Luke Cage today?
I haven't watched that much of it.
I'm only 8 episodes in.
Guys, I freaking finished it yesterday.
TwitchCon, I've been busy.
Yeah, me too. I've been putting it on while working on
TwitchCon,
stuff in the
Vanquish.
background.
Luke Cage is why I've been busy. I've been telling other people, listen, I can't do this thing. I'm busy, and I'm
I
busy
think
has
people are
meant
gonna hate me
I gotta
'cause
watch Luke
I'm not
Cage.
that into it.
Oh, I love it. It's
Like,
not
I
gonna
like
hate you
it,
for that
but
though. You're allowed to have an
it's
opinion
not
that's
that
wrong.
into it, you know?
Yeah.
I wonder if there's something to be said about for Zach and me. It is like as just white dudes, there's like a newness and a perspective that we don't get.
I
In
absolutely
it?
love that this show's not made for me.
Yeah, me
You
too.
guys should watch Dear White People because
I have
yeah.
friends of mine made that movie.
Really? I want to meet them because I love that movie.
Yeah, they're cool. They're cool dudes.
I think that might be it. Is that like maybe we're a little more impressed by it? You know, because
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't think that has too much effect on me in that sense. I think it's more that I like that it's not even. I think it rides a really fine line of like it's not for me, and I like that it doesn't pander to even pretend to be for me. But I like that it also doesn't go like it's not like trying really hard to make a statement that like all whites are racist or anything like that. Like it brings up
Yeah.
things like Black Lives Matter, but it doesn't necessarily go out of its way. It just tells a story within its world. And
Yeah.
that world is this. But it doesn't try to go out of its way to be like, no, fuck you white people, this isn't for you. It's just a story that happens to not have a bunch of white people in it. And that's how, I don't know, it's like, it's really refreshing because I think the people who are complaining about like, oh, it's racist towards white people, it's like, there's nothing
That's
in
not
this
why I don't like
Yeah.
it.
at all.
Yeah.
No, I
That's
know
not
that's not why
yeah.
you don't like it. I mean,
For
there's
me,
a lot
the
of old white
pacing's off.
dudes. It's super slow, and
It's
I love
very
that.
slow.
Yeah,
I
know.
love that.
I
That's
feel
more my
like-
The
jam.
pacing's like really slow for me, and
Love
so
it.
I think the Punisher is gonna be. I agree with Vic, and I think the Punisher is gonna be more
Punisher
my
would be
speed.
sweet. I think
That's
that
a,
we've-
okay. The FDH says that it's not for me, but it doesn't try to exclude
Yes.
me. That's great. That's a good way to put
That's a
it.
great way to put it. I
Which
think
is
that
a
we
great
kind
way
of
to make
hit.
cinema.
Any kind of cinema.
Master of None kind of did that. Do I think it caters to Indians? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But do I think it's made for like just for Indians? Probably not. I don't know. Have you seen it?
Mm-mm.
Master of None?
Master of
With
None.
the
Oh
Aziz
yeah, yeah,
Ansari?
yeah. Oh no, I love it.
Yeah.
Dude, no, that show's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
That's one of the most brilliant things on
But
TV
it talks
for the last
about
2
like
years.
a lot of Indian
Oh,
issues.
yeah, yeah,
Like
but it
it
doesn't
focuses
exclude
on
anything.
Indian
It's a good
people.
story.
Yeah.
I mean, like BoJack Horseman isn't just for horse people. It's for
That's very
everybody.
true. You know what? That's
Everybody
really
can
good
love
point.
BoJack
Ninja
Horseman.
Turtles isn't just for mutants.
Yeah. But Netflix don't do Ninja Turtles.
All right, so let's get into this book. Shit. Batman's and Aliens, Part 1.
We'll
All right.
come back to Cage when we talk about getting Tartakovsky's Cage when we get to the comics.
All right,
today.
what's up, Miss Cashew? All right, you ready? This is all Batman's head.
Oh,
We're in
so
Batman's.
this is my inner monologue.
This is your inner
monologue.
monologue, which you know Bruce doesn't talk to himself because we learned this in Dark Knight Rises. Even when Bruce is at the company of himself, if he's in the bat suit, he's still.
If you learned anything
voice
about
of Batman.
Batman from Dark Knight Rises, forget it.
that's my gauge of like all things Batman. All right, here we go.
Here it goes.
The nights of my life are spent grappling with leering psychotics, criminals whose inner psyches are scarred and twisted as their outward appearances. In them, I believe.
I can't do
I can't believe
No,
we're
you're
gonna
great.
get sick
Keep
of
going.
this. We're never
Keep
gonna
going.
get
I'm never gonna get tired of this. This is
Amazing.
great. Keep going. I'm so excited.
It's only gonna get like more. I'm gonna slip more and more into the bat veil as we keep going. So it's
No,
gonna
go,
get
go,
less
do
and
it, do it,
less
do it.
comprehensible.
In them, I believed I had seen the heart of horror. I've learned I had no concept of horror. The events replay themselves in my mind with an intense clarity I've encountered only once before. The memories of my parents' murder. I cannot forget. It begins.
And just in case you were wondering if this was a Batman one-off book, I have to remind you on
Yeah.
the first page, his parents died. He's over 30 and he's still a little upset about it.
Just in case you forgot, Batman's parents are dead.
Yeah.
Oh god.
At least they didn't have like a little frame of white pearls on
we-
the ground.
Yeah, right. We're not seeing it this time.
An autopilot plane, programmed to ditch in the Gulf, delivers me to the Mexican-Guatemalan border. I drop lazily toward the teeming green hell below, a verdant shroud concealing dark secrets beneath. I have no understanding of the madness into which I descend. Gah!
It's so cold. It's so cold. Ugh.
I feel like that's a really good sound.
Yeah, he doesn't come out of the water and go. He's like.
He even breathes with the Batman voice.
Hell of an entrance for someone who wasn't invited.
Thank you for the resub, Winter.
It just came out.
You gotta get this next line with the same amount of energy.
Oh gosh.
Just imagine he's saying "Where is she?" whenever you do this next line.
Who are you? What are you doing in?
Don't move.
Ka-chow!
Batman didn't see that gator sneaking up on him.
Man.
I can't make the shot. You're in the line of.
That's the sound. That's the sound.
And now, if you've ever wanted to see Batman fight a gator,
You get to see
Batman
it.
vs. Aliens,
You've
everybody.
always wanted to see this.
Always wanted to
Don't
see
lie.
this.
Don't lie.
This
Just
is the
ima-
book Sterling Archer should have read.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So imagine that while he's underwater, he's also like.
He's asking the crocodile, "Where is she?"
Oh, look at that though. Get the upper hand. Ties some rope around his jaws. Oh, now he's gonna starve to death. What a dick! Batman just lets him go out into the wild to starve to death.
That's what Batman does. He won't kill anyone,
That's basic
but he will
exploration.
absolutely break them to the point that they cannot take care of themselves anymore, and then just leave them behind and hope they get better
That's
on their
apparently
own.
more merciful
It's
than
Batman.
just hunting them.
Yeah, apparently that's better.
Apparently.
As it says, he feels too sober
Batman.
for this show.
I could agree with you.
Fix that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's not our fault.
Man, I
Oh,
think
this
I'd
is
have
me,
to pay.
actually.
Oh, that's you.
Man. I figured I'd have to pay money to see a crocodile that big and some damn fool wrestling it. Now why don't you get out of the way? So I can make sure that thing's not gonna take a chunk out of me later.
The same issue we have with this app every other week.
Oh, out of me later. Move before you get yourself shot. I'm serious.
So am I. Don't pull that trigger. The croc was only following its nature. It never kills, just for pleasure.
But I let him starve out into the jungle on his own.
Yeah, thanks. I'll keep that in mind when I'm wearing it as
Whoops!
Where'd my gun go?
I like imagining Batman, the way this is drawn, where his hand's just like right there. I like imagining Batman actually going,
I said don't.
Easy, Van. Figure off the trigger.
You got a death wish, man? Who do you think you are doing something?
Don't make me take it away from you again.
Aggressively gives the gun back.
Everything Batman related is so much better in this voice because you could just
right?
see him doing it. He's just this crazy lunatic in a bat costume.
There's a reason this is like literally when people are like, what Batman comics should I read? I troll them in the Discord, and every single time I say Batman vs. Alien.
Hey,
This
this
is
is
why.
a perfectly good recommendation.
It is. It's beautiful and it's amazing.
You can't learn to love
I
this.
feel like he wrote this book
Comics.
while on steroids.
Now, I don't know who you are or why you're here, but I have a job to do, and I won't have you in the way. So you're leaving.
Captain Seeley?
Ha 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 ha. I think maybe you must be confused. Only mission around here is the one we're on. Government sort of thing. You're in the middle of a restricted area, military law imposed. So when you think about it, you're the one doing the leaving, one way or another. Am I making myself clear?
Basically, he just did the cop trouble. You're out of your jurisdiction.
Yeah.
I am on a mission of mercy. I have one partner, and I left him at home. Anyone else's presence is interference. I won't tolerate it. Am I making myself clear?
Notice he didn't mention that partner
I
was
was
a boy
just
under
wondering,
the age
well,
of 10 wearing
Is it
little
though? Because
underoos.
he says he has one partner, and I'm thinking, is he
Basically.
talking about Jim? Is he talking about Dick? Is he talking about Alfred? He has a lot of partners.
He's talking about Dick, yeah.
Yeah, probably.
You're in the wrong place, man. You're out of your element.
People who point guns at me come to regret it.
Play nice, kids. And for pity's sake, Seeley, quit waving this thing around. The op's enough of a snafu as it is. We don't need you adding to it.
Remind me when I asked for your opinion, Hyatt. Last time I checked, I was in charge of the mission.
Yeah, then your mission's been on the ground for 30 minutes and it's already a disaster. All your gear's gone somewhere on the bottom of that swamp. We need whatever help we can get. Unless this guy's dressed for Halloween, I'd say it's a safe bet he can take care of himself. Why would you assume that? He looks like a guy in a bat suit.
Is Batman not
he
famous
looks like
yet?
A crazy person.
Alright, we can have it your way. But you heard the man, said he works alone.
Look, like it or not, we're stuck with each other. Our team's on a covert of op. We don't allow civilians to know about missions like this, much less stumble into the middle of it. Protocol says neutralize you, but circumstances being what they are, we can use the extra body. Our target site's northeast.
So's mine.
Seems like we'd just be getting each other's way then, wouldn't we? My name's Hyatt. You're...
Just who you think I am.
I do want to say, I appreciate how well you're doing all the cutoffs of the dialogue. You're really jumping in there. The timing's great.
He is such a dick! He is such a dick!
He is, really is. Yeah, Batman is absolutely, without a doubt, the fascist superhero. He is absolutely a fascist.
Alright, Batman. Do we have a working relationship?
You ask as if there's any real choice. I'll allow you to accompany me. As long as you stay out of my way.
I love that this thing started with them asking him to go on their mission, and he's like, I'll allow you to accompany me. I think we can live with that arrangement. Might as well get to know the rest. This is the dead man's hand, Government Special Forces. Exactly who we work for isn't your concern. That's Paige, Gantry, Van Der Pol. Call him Van Derple. And you've already had the pleasure of meeting Captain Seeley.
Uh-huh.
We was sent here to find something, but reckoning Intel went to sleep on us. We shooting him blind and hit the swamp. All our gear, radio equipment, most of our weapons and ammo, rations, sank before we could get to it. What about you? Your gear come down somewhere around here?
I'm carrying everything I need.
You can't laugh because it makes me laugh.
I'm carrying everything I need.
You gotta grab your belt
In
while
my
you say it.
special utility belt. Also, I have a magical black man in my basement who makes me things.
He's on the payroll. Right. Social time is over. We got at least 5 clicks to cover through heavy jungle, and we're losing light. Let's move. After you, hero.
No! I want you in front of me,
Next line.
where I can see you.
Yeah, that's what you want to do. Work yourself onto my bad side. Is it me, or are these two gonna fuck at the end of this book?
That's why I left that pause for that long.
Right? It's like, excuse me, I like to watch you walk away. Like, okay, Batman, look at my bad side.
Neuromancer 27 says, stop breaking character, you're ruining my immersion.
Sorry. With my
try-
voice acting skills, it's really easy
Let's
to
try
get
really hard.
immersed.
We're gonna try really hard. Craps. Sun's down and it's still 95 degrees. I hate the heat. Seems like most of our mission drops in the jungle or the middle of some desert. Guess you're probably not used to this. You staying around Gotham, mostly. And how much farther, Captain?
I look like a map to you, Gantry.
Hello? Are you even listening to me? I said...
I heard you. I have nothing to.
You don't look like you're sweating. You go walk point for a while.
Is that an order?
Damn right it is.
I don't take orders.
And I won't stand for disobedience in my unit. I deal with any problems myself. Looks like you got problem written all over you.
Then maybe you should try dealing with me so we can get it over with. Humph!
Woof!
Good!
Paige, get up here. Pop a flare. Give me some light.
Right here, got it, Cap.
There it is.
It's here. An honest to goodness spacecraft. Or what's left of one.
It's huge. You see this thing? It's just so huge.
Wonders never cease. Satellite tracking finally got one right.
God's mercy on us all. Seems like we found what we're looking for.
This isn't what I'm looking for.
It isn't? What the hell are you doing down here, huh?
Not one of ours, Seeley. Not Russian either. And nobody else has any tech to even get something like this into orbit. Doesn't leave too many other options. It's got to be the real deal. It's from out there. Hey, Paige, what do you think? You think there's anything alive in there?
I think you should switch to decaf, Van. Damn. An alien spaceship and Batman all on the same day.
As Batman's playing with goo.
Okay, boys and girls, let's have us a little look around and see if anybody's home. Paige with me, Van and Gantry that way. Hyatt, you and your boyfriend up there. If anybody finds anything, yell. Rendezvous back here in 15. See something you don't like? Shoot it.
I heard that. Hey, I don't think if you think you're being chivalrous or what, but I do have a gun. Why don't you let me take point? Terrific. Look, all I'm trying to do is make conversation. Not really the talkative type.
No!
We're walking around inside a spaceship, an alien spaceship from God knows where, and you don't have a thing to say? Nothing? I can't believe this. You act like it's no big deal to...
Ah!
That's Van.
Ah, jeez, man. It's real. It's real and it ain't human. Freaking alien. The head's all wrong.
Did you kill it?
Just hanging there, man. Like some kind of...
Vanderpool! Did you kill it?
Sorry, it's Van Derp.
Oh, Vanderpool thing. Though I walk through...
Though I walked through the valley of the shadow of death, no way, that thing was dead. Just Just when I found it, it startled me, okay? I shouted, but it was already dead, I swear.
I will feel no evil. What the hell are you screaming about, man? Sounds like a girl's dormitory on panty raid night in here.
But thou art with me. Me and Gantry, right? We come around the corner and I caught sight of it first. I got rattled. That thing looked up there in the dark, so I put one on its head.
And that hole in its chest?
Wasn't me. That was there.
Rod and thy staff comfort me.
Look at that. Batman's just holding one.
Yeah, he's like, oh.
Yeah, he's like,
Can you
hey,
tell
here's
me
one of
what-
these.
No, you know, I'm not even gonna go any deeper into that imagery there. What could do that, Seeley? That hole? You don't think it was alive when it happened, do you?
Who am I, Dr. Spock? How should I know?
Mister?
Thou shalt prepare a table before me against them that trouble me.
What you mean?
What?
You mean Mr. Spock? He was a guy on Star Trek.
Check it out, Hyatt. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, and my cup shall be full.
So what you guys are seeing right now is Batman deducing the situation.
Yeah, he's very quickly realizing how facehuggers work.
Yeah. Dr. Spock was the baby guy.
A little geek, isn't he, Paige?
Yeah, I care, Vance. Shut up. Stop bagging and tagging. Uncle Sam's gonna want everything we can pick it up.
But thy loving kindness and mercy shall follow me all of the days of my life, and I dwell in the...
You will be too with your chest blown out and a hole in your head.
Gantry, shut your yap. Can't even hear myself think with you babbling that Bible crap. What do you say, Mr. Detective? What are we looking at here?
I'm surprised you want my opinion, Seeley.
Yeah, well, any port in a storm, right? So, what killed the little guy? And what's that gunk he's all strung up with?
I'm not sure just yet. We need to search the rest of the ship, collect more evidence. Maybe then I can give you a theory.
Thanks, that's really enlightening. Search the rest of the ship. Wouldn't have thought of that all by myself. Alright, we fine-toothed this place. Same pairs as before. Find everything that's here. And Van, don't shoot something unless it's alive. Meet back at the hull breach and...
Seeley! I do think we should be careful.
Damn it! I keep missing. Good idea, Paige. Most of our ammo ended up on the bottom of the swamp. So why not waste what little we got left?
Please, I'm trying to read.
Can't stand those things, all that howling gives me the creeps. We camped next to a downed spaceship, inside of which we find 5 alien bodies, 2 with the chests exploded. And you get freaked out by monkeys? You're one of a kind, Paige. Truly. I'm gonna find that thing and kill it. You do that, Great White Hunter. Put that gun to use.
Idiot.
How about you? You really get by with just your fists, like they say? Why don't you carry a gun?
I have my reasons.
Oh my god. Okay, in the smoke, there's the...
Oh, there it is!
In the smoke, we have the pearls and the gun in the smoke. It happened.
So good.
It happened, guys.
Yep.
What about you? Why do you carry a gun?
You're asking why I do this? Ambition. I'm the first and only woman on any U.S. covert ops team. I do it because it's the sort of thing that gets you noticed. Moves you up the ladder. I'm going to be a woman with power someday. I've wanted that ever since I was a little girl. I'll do whatever it takes to get me there. I guess we all have our little obsessions, don't we, man in that costume?
So what obsession brought you down here? Thought you were supposed to be the urban creature of the night and all that. If you're not here for the ship, then what?
I told you, I'm on a mission of mercy. And I've delayed my search long enough.
Paige. I get my hands on him, we're gonna come back from this mission with one less... And Batman runs faster than everybody else. Where'd it come from?
I don't know. How you see anything, Seeley?
Follow me. I think he's over here.
Is it?
Blood. More than likely human. More than likely Pages. His gun's over there in the undergrowth. I have to assume he was carried away because his tracks were joined by something else. before they stopped, like nothing I've encountered before. This way.
Great. Something he hasn't encountered before.
Here! The trail leads me into the interior of the central temple, probably deeper into the underground complex. I'll go in after Paige.
All by yourself while the rest of us sit around out here? I don't think so. Dead man's hand takes care of its own. He's my man, I'm going
You
in after
saw
him.
the condition of those aliens on the ship. You have no way of knowing what's in there. I'm better equipped to deal with the unknown.
Got all the equipment I need right here. I'm on point. The rest of you behind.
I'm not afraid of bats.
Ah, get him off! Batman's like, this is like home to me.
Oh, man.
If you intend to go with me, I suggest we get moving.
How deep is this place, huh? We've been down here too long. We should have found Paige by now.
Ease up, Van.
This isn't cool. This isn't what I signed up for. Wandering around Mayan ruins in the dark, we could be headed in the wrong direction. How do we know Batman's not lost?
I haven't lost a spore. There's an odor.
I don't smell anything. No, he's right. There is a smell. Up ahead, around the corner. I'm on it. Lord God.
It's not Paige.
Look at his chest. Merciful God.
Ew, gross. It's not Paige.
Nope. But who the hell is it?
His name was Abel Barrett. He's a geologist working for Wayne Tech, sent down here to survey for copper deposits. Contact was lost with him 4 days ago. Bruce Wayne asked me to locate Barrett.
Oh, really? You close with Bruce Wayne?
Oh, just a second. I have difficulty changing. He had a wife and daughter.
So what's the deal? What happened to him?
Obviously, the evidence here is exactly the same as on the ship. Whatever did this was on the ship. Probably came here with the ship. I have to suspect we're not alone in this ruin complex. People are not spontaneously exploding.
That's some solid detective work, Batman!
You're welcome. I
Then
do
we got
this
some-
all the time.
We got some seriously twisted people for company down here.
Why do you assume we're dealing with people? Because there's eggs and strange little goopy aliens around?
What is that not normal? This guy's also from space. We don't need any secrets, Batman. What do you know?
Nothing yet.
Look at them, they're about to make out!
But I think we should find Paige as soon as possible. And I think we should be prepared for anything.
Move your butt, Hyatt. We're leaving.
Coming. As she sneaks a recording device
She
that looks like an
sneaks
8-track tape player into her blouse. So there's something on the loose in here with us, something that came out of that spaceship. That's what Batman said, isn't it? It is bad. We're in trouble, man. I can feel it.
Those who trust in the Lord need not fear. Faith in the Almighty God is our road to salvation. It says in the Book of Prayers, our Lord is the name of the Lord. Our hope is the name of the Lord, who hath made heaven and...
For pity's sake, Gantry, give it a rest. Unless your god's gonna strap on an assault rifle and bail us out of here, I don't see him as being much help, so I don't want to hear it.
Oh,
Paige!
they came for me. Things like you can't imagine. All teeth and teeth and teeth and teeth.
It's a miracle. God has spared him. Take it easy, Paige, you're okay.
No, none of us. You don't know what. Here, things.
There's an egg. It's hatched. Just like the others.
Well, what's that mean, the others? Is there something wrong with Paige that there isn't there? Ask for his help, Paige. Pray with me.
Didn't kill me. They didn't put me here and brought the egg open, just like a flower. Hands on me, on my face,
Pray with me.
Get out of the way!
down my throat.
Oh man, it's gonna happen to him, that chest thing, just like the scientist guy on the two geeks on the ship. What are we gonna do? We gotta leave.
Shut up, Van. Shut it.
Can you breathe properly? Is there a blockage?
It left something alive inside me.
Calm down, everybody. Calm down and quiet down.
I can feel it moving.
I'm taking you out of...
Blam! Had to be done.
Murderer!
He was dead already.
Craps, he's strong.
Let...
Stop it, both of you. What's done is done. We've got enough problems without fighting each other.
Go! You kill that man in cold blood, Seely!
Not the first time. Paige was a casualty the minute the thing got inside him. I know it, and so do you. I'm just the one who admitted it. I say we take care of our own. What that means now is we save ourselves. We're getting out of here, and we'll do it faster without carrying baggage like Paige. You don't need to be a detective to figure out something's down here with us. I want to be gone before it finds us.
Dude, that tail coming up behind him, though.
Oh!
There's 4 of them. Oh, there's 3 of them.
Monsters!
Seely, shoot it! Shoot it!
Yeah! Blam!
Oh, and this acid. Right on his face. What the hell? Oh, God, what are they?
My face!
Yeah! Seely's down! Someone get to him! Back to back, don't panic. No crossfires. Can't see them moving too fast. How many? Oh! Grabs him by the head. You're back! Man, get down! Face is burning!
Move! I won't be able to hold it.
Only have to tell me once.
Money.
RAAAAGH. Hashtag smalls, hashtag Cade, hashtag Mac, hashtag Cotton Hiss. Hash Sador dash Krupp.
Okay.
Thank you, Dashetti.
I'm like,
Yeah, they're gonna win the battle today.
oh.
That's not a thing.
Okay.
I'm low. Who's carrying?
Still can't freaking see. Demons from the pit.
Gantry, where the hell'd you go? Click. Near
Oh, God. Right in his mouth.
2 feet.
They're making out.
Call that
Crunch.
an old French kiss.
Drop! Why don't you drop, you freaking bug?
Here!
Where's my gun, Hyatt? Get me my gun.
You want a meal? Try me.
You know they don't speak English, Batman.
So fast. Ugh.
Hold on.
I like my home better. This is so great.
Come on!
For Halloween.
Get some! Get some! All 3 of you ugly monster mothers! Oomph. Ah! Ah!
Seely!
Take at least one of you bastards with me. Click. Solid Kirby Craftler right there.
Don't give a shit about Robo.
Yeah, no,
He just
just rises out. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you just drop a building on me?
Don't give a
Stormneedle.
shit about Robo. Wyatt. Or Hyatt. Vanderpool. Are you both alright?
alive, thanks to you shielding us. My arm, I can't feel my arm. Batteries are failing.
Hold still.
But it hurts, burns like.
Hold still. I carry first aid in my belt.
How bad off are we,
You
huh?
asking me to find a silver lining, Van? Take a look around. Seely and Gantry are dead. Seely suffered one of those things, but the other 2 are still out there somewhere. The explosion sealed off the corridor, so at least they can't get in here, us.
For now! The collapse also cuts off our escape route back to the surface. Our supplies are nil, and Vanderpool is going to need more complete medical attention than I can give. Those creatures have been in the ruin complex for days, at the very minimum. They don't appear to be intelligent in any conventional sense of the term. But they're cunning. They've had time to familiarize themselves with the passageways. It's only a matter of time before they find a way to get to us.
Just breathe, Batman.
It's getting darker and darker.
Oh, it looks like the crocodile got free. Oh, he's okay. He's okay.
Which, like, it looks like, yeah, the thing came undone. How long does a criminal have to wiggle on the street before they get out of Batman's rope? Because this
knows?
croc did it.
That croc smells. Some eggs.
Oh, man,
Oh,
that
snap.
croc is going for the wrong
Oh,
breakfast.
snap. All right, book number 2. Look at that art. Yep, yep. All right.
All right, that
Issue
was...
2. Do we? So we're just gonna end there. I mean, maybe next week we come back and read issue 2.
I would.
That's
be
probably a
down
good
for it.
idea.
There's 2 issues.
We gotta
in this
figure out
volume.
who's who. Oh, look at that. Look at what the first page of issue 2.
Oh my god.
It's Bruce's Parents coming out of a theater.
Just in case you forgot.
No. Every
Guys,
artist gets to
that-
try it.
That this book is stupid ridiculous. One of my, like I said, I remember picking this book up at Hastings in Mountain Home, Arkansas, and actually being so excited to sit in the parking lot and read it. It's
so
amazing.
So good. Makes me happy.
All right, we're gonna get stuff in the news, guys. Welcome to Graphic Content. Hope you enjoyed our live reading.
For people who just randomly came in, they were probably like, "What the fuck is going?
Right.
Why is this girl talking like that?"
Oh, and then
Talking
they
like
say, well,
Batman?
you
What
say
do you
that, they see Batman on screen and they immediately go, "Oh, I'm on board. I am so fucking
Yes.
on board." I think Rosario Dawson also did a great job as Batman.
That
She's
bronze
definitely
Batman.
been miscast in a
Thank
lot of
you.
things.
Thank you.
Rosario Dawson for the next Batman. Get that trending. So, guys, welcome back to Graphic Content. That was our live reading. So, coming up next on the show, we've got some news.
What kind
Then
of
we'll
bug
do
is that?
some Vanquish
Is that a
coverage.
dangerous bug or is that a
It's
fly?
there's just a fly in the studio.
Okay, well, I'm good.
And then we're gonna have a little bit of talk about the comic books of the week.
Thank you for saying I'm the best Batman. So, you know, Zach said I didn't have talent, but I'm gonna actually submit that reel and see if I can be,
Get
you know,
cast in your next
Luke Cage
film.
already happened, but maybe Iron Fist, you know?
There you go.
If they need a feisty brown girl who can do Batman impressions on the fly. Like, look at this hashtag BatBronze. I say we tag DC in it. They're having difficulties with representation in their films. Maybe we just need to have me as Batman all the time.
All the time.
All the time. I think it would work.
Yeah, totally. Totally would work.
Yes.
So, what do you... So, what... It's so hard to come out of that book because it's
No.
it's basically just picking up right where Aliens left off.
Yeah.
Like the tone
Yeah.
and the style of that,
Yeah.
that is 100% Aliens. Not Alien, just Aliens 100%. That is... You think Batman would be better served in like an Alien situation where
Yeah.
it's like him sneaking around
Gotta
and
shake
Yeah.
your shit out.
him
see what's
versus
going
the alien,
on.
mano a mano. But no, it's Aliens.
It's alien.
I want to see Batman facing off with a group of Marines out in the jungle. Let's do it.
Yep.
Let's mix yeah, and then I think that volume doesn't it later on include like Alien, Batman, and Predator.
Yeah, and then it also has Superman.
Hey!
Money.
You all did a good job. Rosario Dawson is the best Batman.
I feel like that'd be kind of stupid to have Superman show up in one of those because that's just kind of like makes the suspense disappear.
Yeah, he was in a newer one,
You're just kinda
but
like,
it's part of that big
okay.
compilation I have.
Yeah, you're like, all right, cool, Superman and Predators
Freeze,
and aliens.
breath,
like,
and laser eye them, and they're gone.
yeah, like come on, Batman's who you want to see fighting those guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's smart.
The twist is that Superman, being an alien, chooses the alien's side. It's the big surprise.
Like I see what you're doing here. You're just trying to survive as a parasitic
Yeah.
species.
I mean, I'm the last of my kind. I get it. My
If
planet
I
was
could-
blown up.
If I could plant my seed in people's mouths, I'd do it.
Oh, God. Lois keeps saying no.
Yes, sometimes
Okay.
you get shot down.
And now we've got Superboy.
Well, let's move on to the news. It's Wednesday,
talk about
everybody,
some
so
stuff.
it's comic book day. There's all sorts of crazy stuff going on. First thing I want to talk to you guys about is New York City Comic Con. I will be there. So we're going to do a Thumper meetup in New York this weekend. I don't know when yet. I'm still getting more of my schedule stuff from Valiant. But I wanted to read with you guys how it's going to stream out, what we're going to be streaming. So Friday, we will be streaming the Future of Valiant panel. And that will probably go live on this channel at 10:30 a.m. on Friday. 10:30 a.m. This whole Eastern time is going to make it really strange for our programming. So 10:30 a.m. on Friday, we will most likely be streaming that. Friday afternoon, which would end up being like noon here. Noon until 2 p.m. I will be streaming the press junket and hopefully interviewing a lot of the different creators, having them stop through for a little bit, talk about their books and all that wonderful stuff. And then Saturday at 11:30 a.m. it will be the big Valiant big surprise announcement that everyone now knows exactly what the surprise is going to be about, but they're going to show the first trailer from the show. So make sure you're watching Saturday morning.
Footage!
At 11:30 a.m. It's going to be amazing. Or sorry, that's it's 11:30. Yeah.
Definitely not Ninjak hype.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Definitely not Ninjak hype. Definitely not super hyped for the Ninjak trailer on Saturday. Definitely not.
Yep. Final Fantasy IX says finally hyper RPG programming in my time zone. Yeah, so if you're on East Coast, it's 6:45
one weekend only,
or 1:45, 3 p.m. and 2:45. But you know, and hopefully you guys are around to deal with some of the people who might be tuning in. I don't think I'm able to get. It's probably only going to be our people, honestly. Valiant did put out a press release, so maybe some people will show up, but it's not going to be on front page rotation this time. So you know, you guys should show up and be able to help spread the wonderful news. But hopefully the internet works. There was a little bit of a snafu on that where it's in a room that doesn't have an internet hookup. So we're using a MiFi device and hoping it cuts through the extra traffic and gives us at least a 1500 kilobyte. Like I might do 720p, 1500 kilobyte just to get it out, you know?
Something out there.
And then do like a local recording to 1080p to put up on YouTube later. So, and I'm not allowed to plug anything in, because the union in New York's really strict, so I can't just plug in my laptop. Everything has to be run off battery, so it's going to be a really stressful 2 days for me. Yeah, lots of things left to chance, and I don't like that. Live streaming already leaves enough things to chance, so yay! Tune in. We'll try to make it work.
Pashley asked if Ninjak were to theoretically get a show. Theoretically, if there were to happen to be a Ninjak show, which there may or may not be, where would it air? We don't fully know yet, but it's probably going to be...
You're probably going to find out.
You're probably going to find out on Saturday, and it's probably going to be on its own service, because everything is super saturated. But you can definitely tune in on Saturday to see what's going to go on. But we can give you a tease now.
Yeah, hypothetically,
Because
if
it's
this
on the
Ninjak
internet.
show is going to happen, you might be able to see this picture of Bloodshot right now!
Right now on the internet! Or right here. We're on the internet. So for those of you going, wait, I know that guy. It's because you watched Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Oh, shit!
And that's fucking Tommy, the green slash
It was like over
whatever
40
ranger.
and kicking ass.
Yeah.
He looks amazing still.
Yeah.
It's because he does all those mixed martial arts. He still teaches. So he stayed in shape.
So,
And an older dude in fantastic shape is basically perfect casting for Bloodshot. I mean, older as far as TV actors go, not like real people.
now this image that they released is most definitely like a hybrid kind of Photoshop.
It looks kind of drawn, yeah.
Yeah, it's a drawn image that was done.
Little concept
I
arty.
have seen an official photo, and it looks amazing. So like, this is basically exactly what he looks like.
He looks like fucking Bloodshot.
Poor
Yeah.
guy has to sit in makeup chairs for probably several hours a day.
Yep.
All that white paint.
Full body. Well, I was gonna say like, yeah, sure, full body. You know, paint is a thing, but it's got all that shading too. You know, it took time.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know. You know, it wasn't because even his muscles are outlined with gray. Like that took time. Because in the secret picture you showed me, it definitely took time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But he looks amazing.
He does. It looks really great.
It's like my workout inspiration.
I'm super pumped
He's
to see
old
that
enough
trailer.
to be my dad, like, and he looks like that. GG. Game over. I'll never be Rosario Dawson now.
All it took was the Green Ranger to show me that.
The Green Ranger crushed my dreams.
Yeah, way to go, dude.
Sorry, Rosario Dawson watches Power Rangers and goes, I'll never be Jason David Frank. So it's okay.
Probably. No one will ever be Jason David Frank. He's JDF. He's the best.
Are you a fan?
I am.
Cool.
I'm a big fan of the original Power Rangers, so therefore a fan of him.
I'll make sure and get a picture of him and have him sign it to me, and then I'll give it to you.
So I was like, to Zach, but you're gonna give it to me? I brought you that super awesome ride poster. Why would you reward me with that?
Doesn't say to Zach
Because
on
it's
it.
Do you
a troll,
know
and
I
trolls
saw
create
a
memories.
metal axe for the Eternal Warrior.
They have that at the shop?
Yeah, and I was gonna
They got
buy
one of
it for
those?
you. Yes.
Dude,
and then
don't
I
do that.
didn't
They're
'cause
crazy
you're
expensive.
A douche. Oh, really? Like how much?
Oh, they're really expensive. They only made 100 of those.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, if I may know where one is located.
Oh my god.
Yeah, where you can like go grab it like today and just
Yeah,
have it.
that was one
I
of those.
feel like we should mount it here.
That was one. Oh my gosh. So that's
Next
one of the
to the
things
heads
I'm
of our
still
fallen
asking
enemies.
Valiant for. When they first released those, I was like, dude, I gotta get me one of those axes. I was like, oh,
It looks
They were like,
nice.
we'll get you one, man. And then I asked them later, I was like, hey, what? Thought you guys were gonna get me one of those axes.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we may have overpromised.
Yeah.
We don't have it.
And it's also really cool going to a comic book store like mine that's really supportive of female nerds because like I got to hold it and swing it around and just to test what I could do with it and they didn't stop me. I just swung it around at a comic book store right
It's a
next to the
real
Harbinger
axe, man.
sign. No, it's real and it's heavy and it's full size. Like
Yeah, it's pretty
awesome.
intense.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So what store do you go to? Because they obviously support Valiant more than the one we go to.
Well, yeah, but if I tell you, is that going to conflict with the stores that we're affiliated with?
No.
No?
We
Comic,
we
Not a
love
paid-
all
it's not a
local
paid
comic
sponsorship.
shops.
Comics
Yeah, we
Dungeon.
love all local
Comics
shops.
Dungeon.
Yeah.
Where is that?
It's up near the U District. It's up in Seattle, and it's my favorite comic book store. Hi guys, if you're out there.
Sarah wants to know if I've seen the New York City Comic Con Valiant socks. No, I have not.
They're soft.
I don't research many things because I don't have time.
They're soft.
I literally get ready for this show about 1 minute before it starts, and I feel extremely rushed right when it happens. I'm like, ah!
Yeah, you ever notice how he's always eating lunch on air?
Yeah,
Because he doesn't have time to eat lunch off air. That
that's
should.
true. Malika did bring me some
Some
tacos
things.
right before the show started, and I scarfed them down.
Yeah, those smell
really
really good.
They were really
I
good.
want tacos now.
Taco. Hey, how do I do the next tab on this?
You
did
can
this
do
last week.
Control Tab or Control Page Up or Page Down, forward and backwards.
Ooh, we got an Honest Trailers The
Oh yeah,
Flash.
this is the thing we do now.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna help Screen Junkies out and watch their Honest Trailers. What?
So,
Let's do it.
so this is of the Flash TV show, presumably the first 2 seasons, because
I've
the
never
third one.
seen
I
it.
didn't see last night's episode.
Third one I did. It was
Was it good?
it was Flashpoint. It
Should
was,
I
it
watch
was
It was
Should I
Flashpoint.
watch
So it
it?
was kind of like half of the second season.
I mean, no, it was.
Because I was
It
like,
was kind of.
it really weirded me out that it was like we went from one alternate Earth to another. I'm like, aren't there more Flash stories to explore? You know?
Yeah, but so many of them are him traveling through time into other Earths. Like that's so much of what the Flash is like, hey, look, here's this thing that's slightly different, and then we're gonna, and also so much of what people love are the alternate realities. Oh, we have these characters who take on this, and so
it
the
feels
Flash
like
is
I don't
doing
know.
that.
So to me, it feels pandering as a TV show where it's just like here he is again, but in a slightly
I
different
think
T-shirt.
there's
and
something to be
look,
said
he's
about-
a little bit different.
It's one episode of Flashpoint, so it's not gonna be
Yeah.
the whole season, and
Yeah.
also that Flashpoint is something you need to take care of. When they
Well, I
wrote
just-
Flashpoint and they put that in Barry's history,
Yeah.
it became the first thing Barry should do when he meets his nemesis. So since halfway through season 1, anybody who knows the Flash has known he's gonna have to do Flashpoint at some
I
point.
just thought it should
so I'm
have been
glad they
season
finally
2.
took care of it.
I honestly thought it should have been season 2 instead of this.
Instead of the cliffhanger, yeah, I kind of agree that I mean in general every geeky show from Game of Thrones to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to basically everything that's not on Netflix has the problem of they're putting their tension in schedule breaks and not in story beats.
Yeah.
But
It was a
that's
bummer.
just
But
a thing that everything.
Let's
is
check
doing.
this out. So you haven't seen The Flash yet, Bronze?
No.
Well, this will give you the
Oh,
honest
shit.
trailer's
I don't-
take on it.
I
so.
don't know if the audio
You
is
know what
ever
that
set
means.
up properly. Let me
I
check
know.
that really quick before we hit play and look like idiots. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. All right, it looks like that's the one. Let's do
But
it.
the answer is yes. You should watch The Flash. I fucking love this show.
The Flash is my favorite superhero TV show, except Netflix
Really?
shows. Except Netflix shows.
I just I find it so hard to invest the time because I've been burnt by
What I
you know what's weird? I actually kind of like Smallville. I shouldn't name that in the shows I've
what I
been
like
burnt.
about
Oh, Smallville's on Hulu now, which is the best
Actually,
fucking news
actually,
ever. I
like-
fucking love Smallville.
what
Actually,
I like about The Flash is it's super honest with itself and what it is, and it's a really great version. It's the closest I'm gonna get to Peter Parker on TV.
Really?
Like, look, because Barry's just like he's
So
got
it's
that
not
kind of like.
Arrow
No. In fact, it's
not.
sort of. I think it helped Arrow.
or
Yeah.
or Lucifer
It's not. It's great. All right, let's check it out.
or Constantine.
Constantine wasn't so bad.
Was-
Wasn't great.
From the network that brought you Gilmore Girls, Gossip Girl, and Girlfriends, and the executive producer of Dawson's Creek, comes the CW's attempt to finally score the boy demographic, The Flash. When Arrow started taking itself way too seriously, it was time to dust off one of DC's campiest heroes for a spin-off that combines the most ridiculous stuff in the comics with soap opera drama.
When I'm looking into her eyes, it's hard not to think that she's feeling the same way I do.
Wacky villains, bright colors, and ridiculous sci-fi in a show that really shouldn't work, but somehow ended up being super fun? Holy crap, am I a Flash fan now? I am! Run faster, Barry! You run at that giant shark man! Meet Barry Allen, a cute 20-something CSI who's somehow in charge of solving the city's most gruesome crimes.
I hope you both skipped your breakfast.
But after a convenient particle accelerator explosion gives him super speed, he'll use that amazing new power to constantly complain about not being fast enough.
I have to go faster.
What about the equation, me getting faster?
Because I want to go faster. I should have been faster.
You're gonna help me get faster.
I'm not getting faster, am I?
Well,
No.
But Barry's not the only young, attractive CW star to get superpowers in that explosion. Hot new metahumans get revealed every week, and Barry's got help to track them down. There's adorable nerd Cisco Ramon, who's cool because he says nerdy things we all know.
Have you ever seen The Frighteners? The Walking Dead, Temple of Doom, Back to the Future, Terminator.
Caitlin Snow, a doctor slash scientist slash bioengineer slash hacker slash hematologist slash chemist, whose primary job is reminding you her fiance died.
The explosion that put you in a coma also killed my fiance.
Do you know what Ronnie would say if he was here?
I already lost someone I cared about in this building. I can't do it again.
Barry's adopted dad Joe, a no-nonsense cop that only cares about one thing, being a terrific dad.
So you're like the best dad ever.
Yeah, he just found the best dad he could have wished for.
No one could ever replace you.
And their mentor, Dr. Wells, who is clearly a bad guy.
Welcome, Miss Smoke. Who's going to be Lucy Green? I did.
sorry.
Okay, somebody should put a bell on this guy.
Oh my god.
I hope we're not enemies.
Come on, he is so evil. I mean, look at his eyes, the way he says everything.
We have a lot to discuss.
How are none of you able to figure this out? Watch as Barry struggles against his ultimate weakness, his undying love for his adopted sister Iris, a Flash-obsessed reporter that can't figure out her brother slash true love is the Flash. A love so strong it can survive anything, even alternate timelines, multiple love interests that would be better for both of them, the fact that they are basically related, and Iris answering the question, will they, won't they, by constantly making out with this dude in front of him. Oh, that's rough. And again. Dude, he's right there. Another one? Man, I thought my sister was mean. Oh wait, that sounded super weird. Together, these 6 people will run Flash's home base, Star Labs, a science center so advanced it can create anything the plot requires.
This is a quantum splicer.
An anti-telepathy strip.
So this will allow Cisco to see into his dream.
That also doubles as a secret prison for all the villains, who Star Labs was responsible for creating in the first place.
Good night.
I know they're all bad guys, but this place seems kind of shady, right? I mean, who feeds all the prisoners? Or lets them out to exercise? Where do they pee? I don't see any toilets in those cells, guys. I mean, come on, DC. This is one time you actually should have a pee jar on screen. Strap in for a fast-moving first season that expertly balances villains of the week with a season-long storyline that will make you and Kevin Smith cry like babies.
But it's me, Mom. It's Barry.
Then gear up for season 2 that ups the ante with multiple Earths.
Welcome to Earth 2.
Doppelgangers.
What just happened? Oh, doppelganger.
Alternate timelines.
You're not gonna kill her this time.
And even more opportunities to cry like babies.
I'm really glad to hear you happy, Mom.
Oh, I love this show so much. Starring Air Guns. Recycled Running.
Yeah, they got some good B-roll at the beginning of the show.
Cisco's Oral Fixation. Power Puns.
I gotta run an errand. Gotta run. I've gotta run.
How about I give you a lift? I will race over in a heartbeat.
Converse sponsorship. Ugly Cries. Chores.
Pizza!
daddy issues.
You're just a kid. My kid.
I'm not your kid.
You tell someone you're gonna be somewhere, you show up.
Guess I didn't have my dad to teach me that, huh?
And Barry's bobblehead.
But where you have to stop him.
It's the only way, Joe. Why?
I'm telling you, I'm good.
Oh, it's never gonna be able to unsee
I know.
Try not to
Damn
see that
it.
again.
every week.
Dawson Streak.
I'm gonna steal
I've
that
done a few
name.
calculations. You need to consume an amount equal to roughly 850 tacos.
Wait a minute, if he has to eat that many calories per day, ugh, sucks to be the guy that cleaned up the Starlab's bathroom. Hey, Flash fans, we're not done. Screen Junkies is launching an all-new show.
That was great. Good times, good times. So
Flash is a fun show.
it is fun. It's really fun. I mean, I watched the whole second season, and it was so predictable and transparent. I liked part of the first season better. I thought certain things that got better in the second season were some of the character relationships, but still, it's like my expectations aren't super high on it, so I'm allowed to enjoy it more.
It's also
Whereas
like
like
it's
a
a
Netflix
superhero
show,
show.
I'm super high expectations.
Transparent and predictable has been literally every superhero show I've seen. I can't think of a single one that has surprised me.
That's
Not
true.
even the only one I think is Jessica Jones, just because there were characters like Nuke that I knew nothing about, but that's it. You know, like none of these shows surprise me because it's a genre thing, and every genre has their conventions, and
You're
action
not gonna
shouldn't
watch it
surprise
now,
you.
are you? You're like, oh, that sealed the deal.
They actually said good things about
Oh, well,
it.
no, keep in mind, they're trying to make fun of it.
Yeah, it is. Honest
Yeah.
Trailers is never gonna sell anybody on anything.
Yeah, well, they did say it was really good.
You know what's
in
really fun? So
places.
Malika and I started watching the old 90s Flash TV show.
Oh, yeah.
And what's amazing is how obvious it is that this new show straight up was just like, this works, we're gonna copy everything. It's the characters, even though they might be a different race or a different name, the characters are, it feels like the actors playing them on the new show watched the old show and decided they were going to act exactly like that. Like Joe in this and the police captain in the other 90s show have the exact same movements, the same smile, the same like attitude about, like it is remarkable. And it feels like this whole thing was like they watched the old show and went, okay, there's things in this that work, let's copy all of it and then just add stuff to it. It's kind of a love letter to the old show, which that 90s show is really fun.
Yeah, it's a
really
lot of
fun.
other people think. It's definitely one of those, it comes from in order to sell a comic book property, we have to go as far away from the comic as possible. You know, basically...
Hey!
Subscriber.
Oh, I think we're 4 subscribers away from the giant giveaway. What?
Masuma, Masuma, Masuma.
Thank you for that subscription. Woo! We're like 4 away. This is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
We're so close.
So excited.
Big comic book giveaway. You can get free comic books.
Yeah, we're gonna give away a ton of amazing comic books if we hit that goal by the end of this show.
Yeah.
By the end of the show, so you got an hour and a half to go.
3 more. Just 3 more.
3 more.
That's
Holy
all.
shit!
Wow. What? What?
Subscriber. Masuma, Masuma, Masuma.
I feel like all of our dance compilations are just like we need to find someone who's really, really good at dancing to be on our team. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We're all kind of derpy.
I think that would take the fun out.
Maybe you're right. Maybe being just a little bit like.
I mean, I'm a classically trained bhangra dancer, but then you'd have to change your,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's something like an amateur bhangra dancer might say, but wouldn't an expert really be able to dance to any music?
That's true, maybe.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. What's up with that? What's up with that? All right, let's move on to the next thing here. All right. Oh
Yes.
my God, I recognize all of those characters, and it's amazing.
It has returned. Wildstorm is back in a few months.
In a few months.
Because, news, comics, things take time.
Yeah. So DC Comics has announced a revival of Wildstorm imprint under the direction of curator Warren Ellis. And who else would I want? Warren Ellis, like no shit.
Yeah.
Warren Ellis handling Wildstorm. Like, is this gonna be some like really fucked up, crazy sci-fi shit? Like, what is the plan here?
I think so. Like, I mean, and Warren Ellis, for those who don't know, Wildstorm was the universe was built by Jim Lee. It was Jim Lee's part of the Image Comics founding, and Jim Lee's good at drawing and not super great at writing. And so, it went pretty good for a while. And then when Warren Ellis came on and was writing Stormwatch and The Authority.
Dude, Stormwatch.
And then, Gail Simone did Gen 13. Awesome stuff. Wildstorm became fucking sweet. It got enveloped into the DC universe in the New 52.
Money.
My buddy interviewed Teenie Howard, one of the writers for MMPR Pink, for his Teenagers with Attitude podcast, and she seems really cool. Can't wait to keep reading MMPR Pink.
Yeah, cool. I've heard that the MMPR comics are just fucking awesome.
Yeah, it looks like Jimbot's down today.
Oh no.
No, Jimbot, no!
Jimbot needs to rest.
So the fact that Warren Ellis is attached to this is amazing. I mean, I had every single issue of Wildcats.
Wow.
All of them. Every
Nice.
single one. Covert action team.
So right now there's going to be the 4 books that we know of are the main one, which Ellis will be writing, is The Wildstorm. There'll be a book just about Michael Cray. There'll be a Wildcats book and a Zealot book.
Zealot launching as a book is really interesting to me. The only thing that concerns me a little bit is I hope this is an old image and not the new image they're using.
This is an old image. In fact, if you go next, we have a few images of
some of the new people.
Some of the new people.
Good, because this old image is straight up like, this is still.
This
a
is
little
what
bit
Wildstorm
old
looked like
in the
10
90s,
years ago.
Yeah, in the early 2000s, late 90s of like, a little of that roided out 90s look with the big butts and stuff that doesn't really make sense.
And
anymore.
the only creators we know right now are Warren Ellis and John Davis Hunt, who is the artist right now on Clean Room. So that's correct.
Okay, I'm immediately more on board with this style.
The next is the Engineer redesign, which is super cool.
Oh, nice.
Which is weird because that's the only character that's bigger than the original
She
form.
looks like Farah from Overwatch, like totally, completely, like no difference. Slap a coat of blue paint on her, that is Farah from Overwatch. Right down to the wings.
Cool.
And the shape of the helmet.
Engineer's awesome.
Oh, Grifter.
Grifter! Jim Lee still wants people to care about Grifter. He keeps trying.
Really does. I mean, they tried really hard in DC's.
They tried in New. He was in Team 7. He was in Future's End. He had his own book. Jim Lee has been trying for like 15 years to get people to like this character. And maybe
I liked him on Wildcats.
Yeah, I mean,
you guys remember how bad that fucking cartoon was, though?
Oh man, that
was
show.
like more recycled animation than almost any other.
Yeah, that's like they started where the X-Men animated series ended.
Yeah,
and it went from there.
Dude, that last season of the X-Men animated series was such a bummer.
Bad. So
such
bad.
A bummer.
It's hilarious though. So yeah, Grifter's around too. And then
no way, she looks so badass.
She looks so sweet.
That's such a better costume for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Usually it's just all ass and tits, and that is it on her costume. She was the most egregious of the just straight up, like, she's supposed to be this badass, sword swinging warrior woman, and it was all boobs and all ass all the time. And even as a kid, I was just kind of like, this is weird, because she's kind of like Wonder Woman from this, it's all female assassins, and they were all just so over the fucking top. Yeah. There was that whole thing too of Liefeld getting in trouble for recycling a bunch of artwork with her and stealing other a lot of stuff on that. But
so yeah, new Wildstorm coming. I think January is when it starts, maybe December.
I can't remember her name. It starts with a Z, right? Is it
Zealot?
Zealot?
Scroll down to this, and we had all the characters' names. I've been trying to think of it since you brought it up. And there's 2 characters we didn't show the redesigns because they're mostly just wearing plain clothes. And that's Angela and Miles Craven. But that's Lucy Blaze.
It's not her.
No, it's not Zealot. Yeah, I'm surprised that Zealot's getting her own series. That's pretty cool. So yeah, we'll definitely learn more about Wildstorm as it goes forward, and I'll be checking out Warren Ellis coming back to it. But like, this is where the characters. If you read Grayson, then this is where Midnighter is from, and Apollo, and anybody if you recognize the Authority or Stormwatch, those are all Wildstorm properties.
Yep, it was always weird when they got bought by DC too, because they were such a highlight of Image's kind of movement in the 90s.
And Jim Lee just wanted to do
Max
something.
and Voodoo, they were my favorite little combo there. All right, next little piece of news.
So this is a cool comic that I only heard about because our awesome mods put it on the news thing. I'm pretty sure it was Geica. And so this is a new digital comic being launched by Marvel but sort of by ABC News as well, because ABC is also owned by Disney. And it is based off of the blog posts of a woman in if you scroll down on
Syrian
the news,
Civil War. Huh?
The town she's in is Madaya. The book's called Madaya Mom, and apparently there's no media in Madaya. We're not seeing images from this small town, and like many places in Syria where the Civil War is happening, we're not hearing about it. So this woman put a bunch of blog posts about what it's like to live in this, and so Marvel is making a comic basically to get this story out there, to get a first-person account of what it's like to be living through the Civil War right now. So it's called Madaya Mom, and that it's from a series of blog posts titled "Syria Starving: A Family's Fight for Survival," and it's a mother of 5 whose identity is being kept concealed for I don't know why. It's just at the very least it's her choice for whatever reason. And that's all we know about it, or that I know about it so far. But I think it seems like a really interesting thing, and I like, it reminds me of like Boxers and Saints, the idea of sort of getting this perspective about this historical event that most people just aren't thinking about.
This tablet's totally fucked.
Yeah, I tried to turn it off.
I'm always really interested in comics like this that take, like Persepolis was one. Oh, that book fucked me up.
Yeah.
And what was the one that Dysart wrote? I can't remember the one he wrote. I read it and it was fucking amazing.
Yeah, I can't.
Joshua Dysart.
I didn't read it. But...
Some amazing stuff. And this is just a webcomic, right? Digital release.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain that is the case. I don't know when or where yet.
Yeah, it doesn't really give us that information in this Newsarama report here. Which, come on, bro. I want to know when it comes out and how. Well, it's just been a Marvel press release so far, so not too much information given, but it looks really interesting. Mm-hmm. All right, what's our next little piece?
Interesting, because the new comic that's like based on Black Lives Matter released today too.
Oh yeah.
The one that was kickstarted, and the premise is that someone survives basically a bunch of what?
Hey, new sub, Caleb Clooney, hell yeah! Today is the last day to make your subscription count towards charity, yo. So subscribe, resubscribe, do whatever you gotta do. Use that shit today to help with charity. One more sub to a giant giveaway.
Oh yeah, one more.
Masuma. Bam.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So these are just the pages from Madaya Mom. Looks fun. Looks good.
It doesn't
look fun, but it
doesn't
looks
look
good.
fun, but it looks good.
I'm definitely gonna check it out more. I like the art style again. It reminds me a lot of Boxers and Saints.
All right, who is this dude?
That's the Punisher. He shoots bad guys. And that's
This
basically
is from the
it.
set of the Punisher?
This is. Oh yeah, that's it.
Subscriber.
Getting this shit.
Masuma.
Hell yeah, thank you for that. That's just some hobo who got tickets from that thing. Wow, thank you for that subscribe. Guys, be active in the chat room. It's time for a massive comic book giveaway. And you know what? You guys should be extremely excited because I'm going to come back from New York with a ton of stuff to give away.
Oh, man.
I'm going to come back with so much Valiant shit to give away.
He's going to steal an axe.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's going to steal 3.
Oh, yeah. Some of those fucking Faith exclusive plushies for NYCC.
Yeah,
I'm going to bring back some of those.
Some exclusive
You
pop
better
dolls.
fucking believe it. Better fucking believe it. All right, guys, getting active in that chat room. We'll pull a winner and let you know in just a second. All right, so Punisher news.
Yeah, so there's a very small amount of news from the Netflix shows, but I thought this was timely because Luke Cage just dropped. Although we kind of already took care of talking about it. Mm-hmm. I have finished all of Luke Cage. I think it's fucking great. All right, we have our winner. It is I Am Corona.
I Am Corona, no fucking way.
I Am Corona wins. You got a bunch of shit.
Oh, there you go. Congratulations. I am Corona. Subscribe and win. Congratulations on that giveaway.
It's pretty sweet. All right.
Congratulations.
So apparently the filming has begun on 2 new Netflix, or it already has begun prior to now on Iron Fist, but filming has begun on The Punisher, and this is the first picture that has been snapped on set of, Joe Bernthal looking like Luke Cage.
So he's probably on the run or something to that matter. This is what Hollywood would do in any instance where they want to let you know that this person doesn't want to be found.
Yeah.
No, they don't usually go with the beard. They usually just go with like a hat and sunglasses.
Well, this also shows
he's distraught.
What also helps us show that time has passed, right? In the Marvel, in every other time they've concealed their identity, it's been during one of the Captain America movies, and it's hoodie, it's glasses, and it's a flat brimmed cap, and apparently nobody knows who you are, no matter how famous you've been for 75 years. They can't tell who you are if you wear a hat and a hoodie. Captain America could
Fight
conceal
scenes
his
in
identity.
Luke Cage were awkward. Fight scenes in Jessica Jones were garbage too.
Oh, they're so garbage. Daredevil's been the only Netflix show with decent fight scenes.
That they actually gave a shit about choreography.
Yeah.
I actually don't mind Luke Cage fight scenes because they're so kind of like...
They're appropriately clumsy.
Yeah.
That shows like a cartoon.
Luke
Cage? To me, it just like looks and feels like a cartoon. Like the lighting.
Well,
really?
Maybe that's why I like it so much, because
it's so cartoony, and that's why it's so hard for me to try to reconcile this show and this Luke Cage existing in the same universe as Jessica Jones, which is so real.
Cartoon.
It's so cartoony. You can't tell me it's not.
Cartoon.
It's so cartoony.
I would say it is corny at times because he is like the Black Superman of Harlem. He is a more optimistic character than probably any Marvel has done since they started with Iron Man 2008. Like, Luke Cage is the most good guy we've gotten outside of Captain America. So he's going to be a little corny.
He's super cartoony.
It's gonna be Luke.
The color palette's cartoony.
I wouldn't call it
cartoony. I wouldn't agree.
I'd call it high contrast, like stylistic, but I wouldn't call it cartoony. Using red hues
And then even the music they use, like, sure, it's great and it fits in with the culture, but it almost feels more like what's that show, The Breakdown?
I don't know, I found the soundtrack to be one of my favorite parts.
Yeah,
How many episodes have you watched?
Like 2.5.
I actually found the soundtrack to be quite impressive because it changed depending on, like, each episode kind of had its own tone and theme with the music.
See, maybe I need to watch more. Because I do like that they show different facets of Black culture because it's not all rap music. A lot of it, like jazz, and has its roots there, and they had funk and stuff like that. But
and then there's an episode where they go straight up hip hop and it's just like, I dig that.
See, I haven't gotten there yet.
Like when they did the All Hail the Chief. Like,
that was the fourth episode. Yeah, where it's like, that's all about.
Maybe I just need to watch more.
Yeah.
Maybe
And
it doesn't grow
I
on
feel
me
like
yet.
we've gotten into kind of a sweet spot artistically with Netflix, where we've gotten enough Netflix shows. Like, I really like Daredevil, but I thought the first season, pacing-wise, was an absolute nightmare. Like, you had to watch 13 episodes in a row, or you did not get a good experience.
Yeah.
And I feel like now we're in a position where we don't have a formula. We haven't figured out, here's how all Netflix shows are going to go, but we've made enough mistakes that, like...
Actually, they have a formula that you wouldn't fucking believe. They do their directing and writing based on a formula.
The pacing, you mean?
Yeah.
They have an
algorithm.
Then it's got to be pretty loose though, because every show. Well, that's the thing though. Is I feel like every show is at least learning through the last one. All these Netflix shows are changing the way they pace a 13-episode season because they're still sort of learning. And I feel like we're getting it to a point where like Daredevil sort of had its first arc and then a big chunk, and this show kind of has two big halves to it.
And you notice that almost every show on the third episode has a really big fight scene.
Oh yeah, there's things like that are really clear, But as far as the whole story goes, there's still definitely a difference between all of the pacings of the Netflix shows. Like, they all have certain things that happen at different times.
Long Live the Chief, not Hail the Chief.
Except for, like, the really big, Act 1, Act 2.
That scene in specifically, like, the Long Live the Chief live performance with the things that were thematically building up in that episode, it was like, oh, damn, this is coming together fucking nice.
It still feels cartoony.
I would never say cartoony. That's...
Yeah, I'm with you that I would call it stylistic.
I
understand it feeling less real, but it doesn't feel cartoony.
Preacher is an anime that's
been
turned into a TV show.
I would call it absurdist. I would say that it feels like the pacing of anime, like the overall pacing.
Preacher is straight up an anime. Even the way they like put the name of
the filmmaker
the
in me
location.
just cringes a little bit when you say cartoony. I'm like, oh, there's better ways to subscribe.
Yeah, I agree. Like visually, I'm not. Campy's fine, but again, we're talking about Luke Cage,
Campy
not Jessica Jones. Of course,
like
he's going to be
talking down
campy.
to it, but I mean, it's silly in places.
But I feel like it also gets really fucking
I really
heavy
want
in
to
real
like
places.
Luke Cage, and then he walks into a situation with a Chinese grandma, and the way he acts is like.
Well, that's him. That's what I like. I like that he is pure, and he's surrounded by these like individuals that are not. And I think Cottonmouth is a great. And I don't want to talk because we don't want to spoil anything, so we don't want to talk about it. But Cottonmouth's like arc and all the stuff that happens there is so good to me because it balances out the. And then Luke goes through his shit too, and it like gives some what's the right word? Some perspective to his personality that I think is really important. But I would say that flashback episode was probably the most. It was, to me, the worst episode, the flashback episode. It was a little too much fan service for me compared to the rest of them.
I mean, and I of course, we all know that I love fan service more than most people. But I think something said about like part of why I think comics are absolutely excellent is that you're gonna have a character like Dr. Doom, whose name is fucking Victor Von Doom, and yet he is to be taken seriously at all times. When Doom shows up, you don't fucking laugh. When he says because Doom wills it, you don't fucking laugh, even though you know that's ridiculous. And to me, like, that's part of, I think, why I like this, that it has that thing where, yeah, it's a little corny, it's a little campy, it's got this, big black Superman of Harlem, and yet it takes itself seriously without telling you to take it seriously. And that's like it is a comic book show.
Inconsistent at places, because I guess like maybe I need to watch more of it because the things I say might be addressed later. But part of me just gets so frustrated with the writing because on one hand he knows that, on one hand he's got this strong moral compass, and then on the other hand, like right in the beginning of the show, it's like you should be doing things. I never asked for this. It's like, oh yay, we're going back to that classic. I never asked for this mentality, and it's like, so you're gonna fucking sweep hair? Like, come on. That's such a shitty mentality to have.
He's technically on the run because he's a fugitive.
Yeah. It is a Luke Cage origin story.
He's trying to keep his head down until he realizes things have gotten out of control and he can't keep his head down anymore, which puts him at risk for being discovered because he's technically a fugitive.
But he did that in Jessica Jones, too, and it just feels like such strange writing. For Jessica Jones, it makes sense, because she's an asshole. She's a fucking douchebag. Of course she wouldn't use her powers for good. But how do you have a character who has such a strong moral compass, and then just watches this stuff go down?
Doesn't mean that you help other people.
Yeah, there's a difference between being good and being ambitious, and also he's frightened. Like, that's a big part. The whole show is about that conversation. Is if you're so good and you are so strong, why aren't you helping people?
Because every time he helps anybody, they get hurt.
People get hurt every time he does, and that's part of it. Like you're not wrong about that, but that's also kind of the conversation of the show. So maybe you would enjoy it more if you watched more. But stylistically, I don't think your opinions are going to change though.
Slow.
It is slow.
The style and pacing will stay the same. So if that's a big issue, maybe you will come around on it.
But it seems like they try to jam so much information.
It also kind of ignores. It kind of ignores Jessica Jones. Like it acknowledges it, but as far as like what Luke went through, we're sort of throwing that out. Like, yeah, he was there.
Final Fantasy Master, I can actually answer that one for you. I actually thought they handled that really well, and it wasn't an inconsistency. I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, but the only times he ever stumbled were when he was internally injured. The only times. I thought they handled that well because they wanted to make him, hey!
Subscriber.
Solid. 49. Thank you for that. I actually thought they handled it really well though, because they're like, he's internally hurt now. So anything that moves things around is causing him deep pain.
Masuma.
In kind of the opposite way, I think they. Thanks for the resub. I think they really dropped the ball in Daredevil season 2 as far as consistency of his power, right? Like it was crazy. Like I can see everything, but because this guy isn't breathing, all of a sudden echolocation doesn't work. And yet in Luke Cage, I thought, yeah, that it was a really consistent. Like they really paid attention to what he could do and when.
Which is why that
money. Eternal Night also has a strong moral compass. #Sador-Krupp #Valiant Vanquished.
True that, true that. I think, to me, the reason I'm liking it so much is because it is tapping into that great superhero situation of when you have the power to help people, but you know that by helping you can hurt others. When do you decide to move, and when do you decide not to
And
move?
he doesn't have a secret identity.
And when do
like,
you
he
let
kinda
other
does,
people like handle their jobs? You know, when do you feel that you're more capable than the people who train their whole lives to handle these things? I actually really like that debate because it's one of my favorite things about certain superhero books. Is like, all right, cool, we're helping people, and then I hate books that just like everyone's saved, great, and there's no like
no
collateral
retaliation
damage,
or anything.
and there's so much collateral damage in the show. I really like that. It feels, to me, it makes it feel more real because there's all this collateral damage that feels more like weighted in the fact that everyone in that area is always affected by everything that happens because of the splash damage.
I think I'm just disenfranchised from it all. Honestly, I mean, because okay, so from watching that trailer of The Flash, it's not that it doesn't look good. It does. It's just, why would I relate to a plucky, like, young white guy who is interested in women? I'm not saying it's a bad show. It sounds like it's too happy for me. And then with Luke Cage, the character's frustrating to me. Jessica Jones as a character is frustrating me. I think the reason that I liked Daredevil so much is the way he operates is more in line with the way I operate, and I never find myself, like, mad at him. And then when they introduced Elektra,
So funny, 'cause I felt the
was,
opposite.
like,
Daredevil's
so
the only
happy
one of those
because
I'm
I was
angry
like,
at.
Elektra is me. Like, Elektra takes things to the extreme because she's so much more
And
practical
see, a lot of
than
people
Daredevil
really
is.
hated Elektra because they thought she was a caricature of a person.
Yeah, if anybody was frustrating in any of those shows, Elektra was the most of the
They
Netflix
thought
shows
that
to
she
me.
was the most like one-dimensional and like to one note, and a lot of people complained about that. But that's the thing; it's like it's about what you relate to, and what you get, like what you find in yourself in those characters.
I did not expect Luke Cage to have two protagonists, and that it could have been called Luke Cage and Misty Knight,
Very
and
true.
and they would have had to change nothing about the show. They could have just changed the name and made, because it's Misty Knight is just as much a main character as Luke Cage, and that's pretty cool because Misty Knight's pretty cool.
Opinions. They're different.
Well, granted, your Misty Knight has not become the Misty Knight that she becomes by the end of the show. She goes through much more of a growth than like Luke, who goes
She
through
actually
more
has
of
a
a
growth
realization.
pattern.
Yeah,
Luke doesn't so
Well,
much. She has
and
growth.
I need to watch it. I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just saying it wasn't as gripping as I thought it was gonna be, and there was parts of it that just kind of made me cringe. And one of them was like the whole sex scene. I was like, so we're going back to the whole Jessica Jones thing. I don't know. I think I'm just different stylistically. I don't want to see like close-ups. It was like long and really awkward, and like close-ups of him grabbing her ass. It was just so long and awkward where I'm like, this is still going. And then the next scene, she's in a suit.
Definitely never happens again.
I would hope, but
Yeah.
that's okay. Remember,
know.
I've only watched a couple episodes, and that was my first impression. I'm like, great, so we're gonna have more scenes of him banging this chick, just like we did in Jessica Jones. We're gonna have 8 scenes of him banging
Nope,
Jessica
you
Jones.
have one and it never comes up again.
You've seen the only one you're ever going to have to worry about.
That already makes me feel a little
that's good.
better.
They do it
Yeah,
once.
and in fact, I actually love how there's next to no romance in this whole show.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which, yeah,
It
is great.
serves to more to character develop Misty than it does him, as her not handling her job correctly, and it serves to like give people ammunition against her later to her being hypocritical to the other people that she's criticizing. But I thought that was actually handled well. Like it was that in that moment, it was more a reflection on her character than his. So.
Yeah.
Moving on, we have a set to Netflix shows that are superhero related. I guess there's this little 15-second teaser.
This is what happens.
for-
One drops, the next one gets a little tease.
Just a little tease. Well, we care.
A little flash.
But it's also
I was
really
joking. I was joking, and that is all it was.
Really,
Okay.
it's a date announcement. That's really what they're doing.
That's
is that they're
not a
telling
trailer.
you March 17th is when it's coming. No, it's not a trailer. It's an announcement. It is now you know when Iron Fist was. You didn't before right now, and so that's what it is. It's not look at footage. It's this exists, and we can make a GIF now because it's 2016 and it's easy. You know, it's just as good as an image.
To be honest, Rosario Dawson was your favorite character in Luke Cage. That was half the reason I was frustrated with Jessica Jones. Is I was like, why isn't Luke Cage dating Rosario Dawson's character? Because it seemed to have better chemistry than him and Jessica Jones. But apparently, that's supposed to be their fucking.
Yeah, the hero whisperer.
Yeah,
supposed to be
that's
like-
straight up what Rosario Dawson is. She's the hero whisperer. She just goes from person to person and is like, have you thought about being a superhero? Are you a superhero? Oh, this person needs help. I'm going to tell them to be a superhero. I'm pretty certain she's gonna bring the Defenders together.
Dude, the scene with Misty Knight and Rosario Dawson though might have been my favorite Rosario Dawson moment out of all the Netflix shows.
Yeah, and she sort of
really
shows
well.
she shows up partway through the series and becomes a bigger and bigger part of the show. And that like I actually felt that this is the first show that I really felt Night Nurse should be here. This isn't just, oh, there's a nurse, so we took this one from the comics. Like, she actually has agency, and there's, like, a reason why she's there other than our protagonists are also in this scene.
Yeah.
Other they serviced her a lot better.
Yeah, they did. Like, she actively searches out someone to talk to rather than someone getting injured and
just happening to find the way.
Find her, yeah. Okay, so Francesco
Francavilla. This is one of my favorite artists working in comics right now. I love Francavilla. He did some of Black Mirror with Scott Snyder. He's the artist on Afterlife with Archie, which
is so good.
If you like zombie stories, read the fuck out of Afterlife with Archie. God, that book is better than it deserves to be. And so Will Eisner's The Spirit, which is one of the biggest comic properties. It's, Will Eisner is who the Eisners are named for, is coming back, and Francesco Francavilla is going to be writing and drawing it. I am super excited about this. Spirit is super classic comics. Francavilla is the guy to be doing this style of art. I just think that cover is exciting. I just love his line style. His thick inks are so neat.
Pretty cool.
And that's it. That's all the news about The Spirit, is that The Spirit is coming back, and it's going to be Francavilla, and he's fucking awesome.
One of these characters that have been around forever.
Yeah. Spirit's so old that he and Batman are both rip-offs of the same character. That's how old school Spirit is.
All right, so now it's time to get into the comic books of the week. Our picks, our polls. We'll talk.
Do we want to talk about?
We should probably do Vanquish first.
We almost did this last week. Talk about Vanquish real fast.
Okay.
We're in volume 3 now.
We're in volume 3, and as you guys saw this week, we introduced a new element known as Chaos Dice that has to do with subscriber goals, which are exactly that. They create intense chaos that throws things way off track. So, pretty fun for me as a GM because I honestly 100% thought that you guys would be able to get out of the hotel situation without killing anyone, and then right when we get in the hotel, Chaos Dice hits.
I'm going to say that's on you. If you really thought without a doubt we weren't going to kill anyone, you've been doing this for 15 episodes.
It would have been pretty easy to fucking get out of that situation.
I don't deny that, but it also is very believable that we're going to fuck it up anyway and kill some people.
Like, I had 5 different ways written down on my piece of paper of how you guys could get out of that situation without anyone getting, like, hurt. And then I had a couple more situations where no one could get killed and just, like, kind of taken out and taken to another location kind of thing. And then like, oh, Chaos Dice, well, Petunia's gonna kill one of them and all bets are off. Let's do this.
Let's be real. If we were real superheroes, we would have handed them a duffel bag of money.
Yep. I think AJ pointed out pretty well. It's kind of, as a team, we sort of operate by video game logic. Mm-hmm. Like, we think we're good guys, and when somebody tells us to do something, we're going to do it, but really it's by any means necessary, and when there's not, like, an objective, you do what levels you up kind of thing. Mm-hmm. That's sort of where we are now. We feel like we're the good guys,
I was thinking
but
about
we're
it
the
as
murder
soon as
hobos.
it happened. I was like, if this were to happen to the Justice League, they would hand over a duffel bag of money and then try to track down the criminals
Apparently
later
she has
and bring
a
them
ton
to
of
justice.
money.
Yeah,
We're
they'll
even
get
in the
more.
past. Like this money isn't going to stay with us. Like we bought a truck, we almost bought a house, and either way it would have
The
been
money
super
is so,
temporary.
and it was like such. She has how many million?
Yeah.
She's got millions of dollars.
We apparently have friends at the bank.
$20,000 is a drop in the goddamn bucket. It's nothing. It's nothing at that point. And we couldn't hand it over. She could have just gone and withdrawn more. Nobody thinks that way though.
Nope. Apparently not. Apparently not. I keep
reactionary.
trying to give you guys situations to come out of them as heroes, and apparently you guys are forging your own path and let me know what you want to be, so I don't know what to do anymore.
But I would never do that. I'm always in character. I would never do that. I would never hand
Well, I would
over
say
a
you
duffel
might
bag of
not
money.
hand over the
more
money,
frequently
but
in
if the rest
characters,
of the
I don't do
group
that.
told you, like, hey,
Here's the
let's
thing.
do this.
If you go back and watch that scene, I was very ambivalent.
Mhm.
Up until they grabbed Cross, I was very much like, it's not my money, because I'm so. But Glitch is not me, but Glitch is so self-centered. She doesn't give a shit about anybody's money. She's just like, I literally in that scene, I'm like silent. watching it unfold.
Yeah,
Up until they grab something, and I'm like, all right, well, let's just kill them.
Glitch has not yielded on being true neutral. Like, she still doesn't care about the group. We're just her way of getting home. She hasn't actually shown any...
She showed a little.
Yeah, then she EMP'd all of a little bit towards Erida. She has a friend in Erida because they bonded, but that's kind of it, right? Like Glitch, if anybody's not part of the team, and that's why she keeps denying it's part of the team, it's Glitch. She has no desire
I think
to
you're
work
wrong
with
about that.
Really?
Yeah, I think sometimes you're as silly as the character you play.
What?
I've yielded on so many of my morals just to work with the team at this point.
I think that you're willing to work with
many
us
times.
because
So
we're
many
your
times.
only way home. That's the vibe I get.
But
is
I've
that
also
when,
showed that I'm invested even when I shouldn't give a shit.
Like right now, she could have walked away.
Yeah, but then she's stuck in 2 years in the past.
That doesn't mean much to her. What does that
Why?
matter?
Yeah, it has no bearing on anything.
You're not afraid of yourself, really?
Why would I be? We already resolved that problem.
Well, no, you resolved a future version of yourself, not the past version of yourself.
But the
Why
past
would I
version
need
of
to?
herself doesn't blow anything up or do anything
Yeah,
fucked up like
past
you guys.
version of myself is actually working for a pretty noble cause.
Yeah, but don't you know that past version of yourself would kill current version of yourself and not trust current version of yourself? Would
Why
Glitch
wouldn't
really
I?
trust herself?
Why wouldn't I?
Same reason you tried to kill yourself.
Yeah, but past version of herself put her where she is now, and she's
Yeah.
comfortable where she is now.
Yeah.
So if she just
There's no
avoids the
reason.
past version of herself, she gets 2 extra
Oh, that's
years
true.
to fuck around.
She could totally avoid it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she could just avoid
Yeah.
and just walk away. But
Actually-
she decided to help the team. Actually, you had a whole speech.
I had a whole dialogue about how
Now's the time.
like that whole thing was an eye-opener, and now how I feel responsible because I can help you guys not do what I did. I can help you guys not fuck up so that you don't have to create a future robot and send it into the past.
Yeah.
And I've said that. Like, that's my motivation. Now, as far as liking people, yeah, I might not like you, but at this point, I've also saved your asses a few times.
But you also put us at risk so you can do your thing.
Well,
Very
that
specific.
depends on what you think my thing is. Me detaining a past version of Livia has no benefit to me whatsoever. I just think you guys are retarded sometimes.
Exactly, but that's what I mean
at
by
any point in
that's what I
time,
mean
she
by
can
your
teleport
thing,
away,
not
and you
your
guys are standing here like,
motivation.
well, we can have Eves go say hello to her, and you're like, there's so much assumptions riding on that. Maybe Livia just left Eves at a different location and knows that that's not Eves. Maybe Livia didn't have feeling for Eves in the past, but she's working for Black Block at this point. Everything that you think is true might not hold to be true because you have no recollection of this period of time. So here we are talking about sending out an iPad that is ridiculously loyal to that version of Livia to try to get her to come with us, and I'm just standing here like she's texting on her phone, and at any second she's gonna go floop floop and leave. Of course I would do what I did. And you know what? If I didn't roll a goddamn 4, it would have worked.
It would have.
I'm not. When I say
It would have.
when I say Glitch does her own thing, I don't mean for her like you're right. She's not just acting for herself. She does care about the team a little bit, but she doesn't care about informing them. Right? Like it's still you're right. Her thing was I know I'm right, and I don't care about telling them. I don't care about warning them. Even though we're all in a box right now, I can't be like you guys are stupid. Exactly. But she does. That's true. We are inefficient, and Glitch doesn't seem to care about making us more efficient when she can just be efficient
Because that's
without
a waste
us.
of time. It's inefficient to make you guys efficient when I'm sure I could take care of it. I was honestly screwed by my bad rolls last stream.
You had a lot of bad rolls.
I had a lot of snake eyes. I got chat was amazing. Got me like 4 or 5 plot points. They were gone. Used on re-rolls, and I still could not roll And the one time I did roll a 19, you rolled a fucking 20.
It was weird. I was rolling really
Yeah,
well.
rolling really
It doesn't happen that often. But it made for a fun episode of failure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did a lot done.
I was trying to be nice too. I couldn't nobody could say that I was trying to be mean.
It really
was
hit
literally
me when I was
like
trying to
just
get
bad
into the
rolls.
cop car, where I was like, roll, car alarm goes off, roll, still can't get into the car,
Yep.
roll, like, oh my god!
Car backs up and you're in the headlights. Oh shit.
That was so awful. There were so
Just don't
many
worry
bad rolls.
Yeah.
That being
I
said,
need to like
Erida's
sage
cloud
my
worked.
dice. Yes.
Cloud worked.
Erida was rolling high though.
Mhm.
I need Erida's dice. I'm just gonna
lucky, yeah.
steal them before the next episode. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, well, we found out that at the end of the episode that you are trapped in the same facility. You don't know where you are in relation to Erida, but you got teleported back to a cell.
Yeah. This might work out. Maybe I can bust myself out and save Erida. With our powers combined.
My big question is anyone else on the team, you're the only one that would have been smart enough to tie Olivia's hands together.
Oh yeah.
Now the question is they've knocked her out. What happens when she wakes up?
She's gonna teleport them into oblivion. I don't think anyone's gonna zip tie our hands
But here's
together.
the other thing part of it is though, like I as a gamer feel like you're right about all of that, and if I allow Nebraska to be anything different than you described, I am forcing Nebraska.
Money.
EA finally caught graphic content Carrot. Carrot, keep up awesome work, guys.
Sweet.
For Nebraska especially, like I was thinking this the whole time we were doing the cop thing. I knew it has a GPS in it. We don't need to put one in it. It has one in it. It has a microphone in it. We don't need to put one in it. It has one in it. It has a transmitter in it. We don't need to put one in it. It has one in it. I can't make Nebraska say those things.
Yep.
Nebraska isn't going to tie Livy's hands up, even though Scott knows he should, because Nebraska. Like I don't want to disservice the character by being a gamer.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that's what's interesting about doing this as a show, is if you were playing with your friend, you would be like, oh, you would know this. You would probably tell, like, some people would say, oh, your character would know that this is this, and you would all be, like, doing that thing, but then it would break the immersion of the show. So for the show, there's that extra challenge of not being able to really do that, because it would feel like cheating.
It's tricky. It's tricky. It's tricky to play it that way. Who knows what's gonna happen?
Exo Identity says, I'm living in France, but English. Watch the VOD of Valiant Vanquished. Hi. That's
Glad you
awesome.
enjoyed
Glad you
it.
enjoyed it. Next week should be pretty interesting given
Yeah,
the
it
situation
should.
that's currently happening, and now that Erida's in the orange jumpsuit.
Dude, like this whole thing, like everything went south so quickly. Like all of a sudden the hotel room was destroyed, all of the car alarms were off, and there was a dead body in the alley outside that people were gathered around.
I've had a really big thing I've been saving for this entire volume that I still have not had the right opportunity to bring in. Just saving it, and just haven't had the right opportunity. It hasn't presented itself yet. I keep hoping you guys will find a way to present it, but so I'm just holding it in my back pocket ready.
The plight of RPGs.
Just waiting patiently. Hopefully that happens. Hopefully.
Now I kind of want to know what it is.
You know what you did do though?
What?
You did kick Livia's knee in.
I did.
What did we see on that video from Galushi?
She was injured.
They were carrying her, yeah. She was limping.
Dun dun dun!
And Erida's in the orange jumpsuit.
And Erida's in the jumpsuit. She got the jumpsuit.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun!
Yeah.
And the name of the season is It Is Written. Yeah. Dun dun dun!
Neela did say there were fixed points.
And apparently we did find out that Neela has been communicating with Sarah.
Yeah.
Or did.
Sarah was all over the place.
Either we know that she had a conversation with Neela, or is still communicating. That was not made clear by the players or from Sarah. It's one or the other.
Yeah. At this point, my character is this close to just like destroying Sarah. This close to just destroying
this close
Sarah.
to just shutting her down.
Especially after the last conversation where she was like, "But I'm loyal to Olivia. This is Olivia that left me." At that point in time, if I didn't get portaled away, I may have just like turned her off and left her in a ditch somewhere. And told Olivia I couldn't turn her back on and lied. No, that last surge just knocked her out completely.
I just thought I was gonna power her up. Oops.
Sarah's evil. She's evil incarnate.
So hopefully you guys are enjoying the show, and hopefully sometime soon we'll be able to do a fan art contest. We've been waiting for more people to become fans of the show and hoping more artists are watching, because right now there's like 2 or 3 people, and we don't want to do a fan art contest when there's 2 or 3 people. We just want to show off the cool fan art that they're already doing. But hopefully you guys are enjoying the show, and you will continue doing so, and we'll just keep growing and keep doing some amazing stuff there. So yeah, that's exciting. I guess let's get into
the comics.
Our comics of the week. Do we have any? I feel like it's really dry. Is there not music playing? Because we hear nothing in here, and it feels really dry. Okay, so let's get into the comics picks of the week. I unfortunately just got back from one con, and I'm getting up at 4 a.m. to go to my next con tomorrow. So I am so far behind on my work that I only had a chance to read 3 books this week, which is a fucking travesty. I am so upset that I can't. It's so frustrating. All right, so just like off the top, like what are the books you guys read this week?
So I read Green Valley. You guys know I'm a huge Image fan by now. I read like basically everything they put out. So I read Green Valley. I read Champions. I read The Invincible Iron Man, Death of Axe. Had to read that. Romulus, Cannibal.
Hey
and
guys, this
Moonshine.
tablet's about to die. It's still dying. The chat room tablet. It's only at 7% now.
Yes.
Okay, so Image had a lot of new books this week. Marvel also had a huge week of new books. Not that one.
So, was tonight or was
Should have a
today?
plug-in down there.
I'll
Yeah.
take care of it.
Was today supposed to be the end of Civil War II? Because it feels like it. I mean, even Champions in the beginning says, after the second superhero Civil War, we had to do this. And this is what happened with Secret Wars, is they had all these books planning on coming out right after Secret Wars happened. Secret Wars got super delayed, and we had all the post-Secret Wars books coming out halfway through the event. Feels like that's happening again.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. I think they need to get their scheduling down, like, bad.
Yeah.
Prince Goblin, we do read everything you say. If you said something useful, we'd comment back on it.
Oh.
Boom! We read all of it.
Oh, shit.
Become a part of the conversation.
You just got curved, Goblin.
Sometimes we just don't have time.
That's true.
And we do actually care what you say. Sometimes there are things we would respond to, but we're talking about a lot of things, and
if they say the right thing, I'll always
It
respond.
sucks because you're right. There's some weeks where there's like nothing, and there's some weeks
Mhm.
where there's too much.
Yeah, I actually managed
There's
to read a
some
lot
weeks
this
where
week.
if I were to read 7 comics, that would just be like everything. And this week, I still have a stack of 4 that I really wanted to read today and I didn't get to.
I had a huge stack of stuff to
I
read
really
today.
wanted to read
I didn't
Shade.
get to read any of the
Shade was
Valiant books
good.
that
Shade
came
was
out.
weird.
Like there was a new A&A, there was a new Bloodshot. I didn't get to read any of them. I'm pretty frustrated.
I managed to read a pretty good amount. I read Death of X, and I read the first issue of Gendy Tartakovsky's Cage.
Can you tell me? Okay, let's get in this because I don't think it's gonna be anyone's pick of the week, so we should talk about
Talk
it.
about Death of X?
Okay.
Let's talk about Death of X. Did
Yeah.
you read that one too?
Yes.
All right, so fill me in. I'm a huge X-Men fan. Before this channel started, I was 100% caught up on all X-Men books, never missed one. Then the channel started.
Now it's hard.
And now I'm so far behind on X-Men. So tell me what's up.
Well, so I'm like that, but I'm my favorite part of the Marvel Universe, the thing I know the most about in the Marvel Universe is the Inhumans. I know tons of shit about the Inhumans. That was sort of my introduction to the Marvel Universe, really. It was like, I'll learn about the Inhumans and I'll see everything through their perspective. So Death of X is the beginning of a sort of 2-part X-Men versus Inhumans thing that's going on. You remember after Secret Wars, there was an 8-month time gap in all the X-Men books. They talked about something Scott did. Scott Summers had done something, and everybody hated him for it because, Scott Summers does things and people hate him for.
Yeah, of course.
This book fills in those 8 months. That's what Death of X
the
is.
shitty thing that Scott Summers did.
The shitty thing that Scott
But we
Summers
kind of
did.
know that Inhumans are going to come out on top because their books are still coming, and this is 8
Yes.
months ago.
Yes. Well, and also, I mean, Inhumans books still coming. X-Men books will come as well. This is not the Death of X. X-Men books are among the better selling books on Marvel's line right now. They sell better than the Inhumans. They sell better than Squirrel Girl. They sell better than some of the Avengers books. The X-Men books are kind of crushing it right now as far as sales go, so they are not being canceled. Ever. X-Men will never really be gone. But Death of X this issue is basically Scott Summers learning about what the Terrigen Mist does to
Which upsets him. Probably.
to mutants, which of course bothers him.
Yeah.
And we go to Muir Island and because it's actually kind of funny. This is a small spoiler, but they have to show that a bunch of mutants have died. So instead of but it's an 8-month time gap, so they couldn't have actually killed anybody between now and then because we would have known it. So there's just a bunch of dead versions of Multiple Man, which is the least impactful mass death I've ever read. Is when it's a bunch of copies of a character who's alive in the same panel. So that happens.
Interesting.
It's drawn by Aaron Cooter, who is a very he's kind of a rounder, more cartoony version of Frank Quitely or Chris Burnham. Which is weird, kind of a cartoony version of that thick line thing. I dig the art well enough. For now, it's X-Men figure something out, the Inhumans figure something out, and they have not met by the end of this issue. It's very much getting started. But at the end of the issue, it says in the little letters column, this is Death of X, but keep in mind, coming soon is Inhumans versus X-Men, which is this is before Secret Wars, and then there's the Inhuman storylines and the X-Men storylines, and then in the present, there'll be Inhumans versus X-Men.
Wait, what's before Secret Wars?
This is before, this is right after Secret Wars, before the time jump. That's all this.
Right. And then
Inhumans versus X-Men will be in the current timeline, after where we
Gotcha.
are now. So this is the first half of
Gotcha.
that.
So then it's when everyone else goes, maybe Scott was right.
Yeah.
Well, what happens at the end of this, everybody's like, Scott's a real dick. And then 8 months are supposed to pass, and we'll be like, you know what? Scott was right.
Scott was a dick.
This
Which is
comic
what seems to always happen in
rubs
X-Men.
me like the wrong way for 2 reasons, and one of them is like a reason that's specific to this comic, and the other one is a reason that I've like I went from being a huge X-Men fan to kind of sort of ever since I figured out what the Inhumans were, kind of like going down a little bit. So the first thing is, because the current X-Men run with Civil War is in the future, this feels like a step back, like a huge fucking step back, which it is, but comics shouldn't read that way when you're reading in a flashback. Because I'm just like, yes, we fucking know, yes, the same gas that gives the Inhumans their powers kills the X-Men. We've been reading that for fucking, like, literally 6 months.
It's super
it feels
introductory.
like a huge step back. It's almost like it was written for people who aren't reading the X-Men, but it doesn't feel like it's marketed that way. So that that part doesn't make sense to me because it's kind of strange in the way it's handling that. The other thing that's always bothered me is that it just kind of feels like the whole shtick about the X-Men is that these people are not accepted in society, they're outcasts, they're feared. But the whole theme with the Inhumans, this is why I don't like the Inhumans, is everybody just kind of seems to like them. And I've never liked that. Like, these people are like out in the field, like ready to accept that they're Terrigen gas overlords and awaken as Inhumans, and I was like, this is so campy and fucking stupid.
So
like,
I
why wouldn't they
absolutely
be
agree.
terrified of the Inhumans?
But why were you able to? Why is that new? Because that's been true for the Marvel Universe since the first issue of X-Men because of the Avengers. Like, why does that not bother you with pre-existing superheroes and the Inhumans make that?
Because now they're
thing?
pitted directly against each other.
I get that, and I have a problem with that. As an Inhumans fan, I have a huge problem with everything that's happened since Infinity and when Black Bolt set off the Terrigen bomb. Because again, part of what makes Inhumans great is that they are not humans with abilities. They are their own species. Like the best Inhumans book that has ever come out, and so far, is Paul Jenkins' Marvel Knights Inhumans. And in it, there's a great scene where like the politicians of the Inhumans go to Congress or the UN and just don't understand how humans are doing it. They're like, they have all these different countries instead of one unified system. They have all these different people and none of them have any abilities and so the Inhumans are inherently the opposite of the X-Men in Adelan.
Right.
And now,
They're so widely accepted. And
they have been engineered to replace the X-Men on TV, but not in the books, which is why now in the books the two of them just have to sort of both occupy this weird, awkward middle ground.
It just doesn't make sense.
I'm hoping that this all ends up being the actual death of the Inhumans. I want a bunch of the Inhumans to get wiped out, and just a few of them to go back to Adelan. And go back to what made the Inhumans not the fucking X-Men.
That's not gonna happen.
And you're right. Well, except for Disney has given up on trying to push the Inhumans on their show.
It just doesn't work in a book, because the other thing that we've seen with the X-Men over all these years, not hundreds, but over all these years of X-Men is that the X-Men that look like human beings don't get as much grief. They tend to be able to live their lives like normal people, and they also end up being a lot less bitter.
Passing
and then
privilege.
the X-Men, like, Nightcrawler end up having a really rough time.
All the Morlocks.
And Rogue. And so in this book, you literally have some bitch who's literally like an iguana, like a flying frog girl, and nobody's like weirded out or afraid of her. She looks like a total freak. And it's like, yes, let's be terrified of a bunch of human beings in suits, but let's not be terrified of a flying frog creature that is.
Yeah, how does the
supposedly
average
an
person
inhuman.
on the street
How
know
do-
the difference between an
But they're
Inhuman
not
and a
even afraid of them at all, and it's so freaking weird to me, and it's so. It just doesn't make any sense. I personally, like, if both of these creatures existed in my world, I would trust the X-Men more because they're invested in Earth, whereas the Inhumans kind of aren't. But, so from a writing standpoint, it just doesn't make sense. The book is kind of inconsistent with that, and I kind of don't like it. Like, I remember, like, even back in the 90s, like, Beast spending so much time in jail and refusing to leave because he needed to prove that they were peaceful people. And now this is the same universe where an iguana girl is flying through the sky and nobody cares. And I get that, oh, well, at this point the world's used to superheroes. But then why are the X-Men still feared and prosecuted? Like, not even a year ago in Storm standalone comic, she got the bronze treatment this weekend when I flew to TwitchCon. Basically, she's just trying to take a flight, and she gets harassed and locked up and put in jail, and she has to handle everything so diplomatically because if she does anything wrong, mutants will be dangerous. And yet, with the Inhumans, it's like all of that doesn't apply. It's just like right out the window,
And to be fair, the Inhumans have met their fair share of resistance everywhere they've gone. Like, that's what the Uncanny Inhumans is kind of about, like, keeping Adelan together.
Little run.
Yeah, but all new Inhumans is basically about them following the Terrigen Mist and dealing
People
with the
not
fallout.
being
Like,
happy
they
about
have, and this is what the X-Men have never fucking figured out that they should do, is have a goddamn public outreach program. They've never had a goddamn mutant to be fucking public. And the Inhumans actually have really public members.
Dazzler.
When Dazzler was in the closet,
in the
when
future.
Dazzler went in a future, there's a lot of futures in the X-Men. When
Right.
Dazzler came out as a mutant publicly, it killed her career. She had to join the X-Men for 10 years because everybody hated her in the 80s because they found out she was a mutant.
Yeah,
Like,
but you can't say she didn't come out publicly.
she did, but it wasn't part
wasn't
of.
a PR
She wasn't
agent.
trying to do it, right?
Literally,
Xavier
and
has
that's-
never figured Scott Summers should be on TV, which is exactly what Xavier should do with his Golden Boy, is put him on the fucking radio or something. Where the Inhumans now have ambassadors following this cloud, saying, "Hey, we're gonna help you. We're gonna deal with this." And Xavier's thing is that he sends people to kidnap your kids if he finds out from his magic
But
computer that they're mutants.
Here's why the X-Men are better than the Inhumans. A lot of the, one thing, maybe it's because I just don't like the Inhumans and I've tried to read so many of their books in the past year. With the Inhumans, it's like they all kind of seem so campy and they're like ready to be superheroes. Like even in this one, people are like, we're waiting the gas, I want my powers to activate. And the X-Men have always been these tragic kids. I loved Spider-Man, like the Spider-Man and X-Men run, and all the crossovers they have, because half of what Xavier is saying is these people want to live their lives incognito. They're normal kids. They don't want to be superheroes. They don't want to even be a part of the X-Men. That's what the School for the Mutants is for. Some of them just want to sit in a room and learn how to control their powers, learn how to manage their powers, learn how to lead normal lives, and he provides them the right to do that. Not everyone should be a superhero. And they actually show mutants that, like, one of the girls just grows flowers everywhere she goes, every footstep, like flowers bloom up behind her. What is she gonna do in a combat situation? And she doesn't want to be an X-Men. And they say that there's a difference between mutants and the X-Men. These are a very specific, trained, selected set of mutants that go around killing people. With the Inhumans, it kind of just seems like they all do. That's what I don't like about them.
Yeah, and part of it is that the Inhumans are a little less defined as far as how they are on Earth because they just, basically went public. I think there's a lot to be said about. There's a lot of potential here. Like this could be a really interesting conversation about the fact that there are people out there who are horribly racist but fucking love basketball, right? And have no problem idolizing black athletes and yet hate black citizens. And that there's a good parallel, I think, with this metaphor of like that they could be doing that. But I'm with you in that they're just not. It's just this weird inconsistency that exists, which again is why I want the fucking Inhumans to go back to fucking space, so that they don't have to be this weird sort of we are ruining the themes of the X-Men and the Inhumans at the same time bullshit.
And I kind of don't like it.
I love the Inhumans, and I understand why anybody who's read them in the last 4 or so years don't, because they've been basically just discount X-Men without the metaphor. And they should be, like, go read Paul Jenkins' Inhumans, read Young Inhumans by Sean McKeever. There's some good Inhuman stuff out there from before Infinity.
I've always loved the concept of this specialized team protecting these, like, making these sacrifices so that these other mutants can live incognito.
And that's the other thing, is we shouldn't be comparing the two, because they will not match up,
Yeah.
and the Inhumans will be
And I've said
thematically
openly, like,
weaker.
the Inhumans for me, like, I never really was into them, and then the only reason I got into some of the more current runs was because of Miss Marvel and their run-ins with the X-Men, so I tried to get into it. And even with Kamala Khan, like, at no point did they tell her, hey, you're like 14 and you're young and you should really think about this. Like, is this what you want to do? Like, to be an X-Men, you get vetted. Like, you have to go through like 8 million hours in the Danger Room simulator. Like, you get vetted. And with Kamala, like, this big red-haired bitch is just like, oh, we're gonna take you to Adlan. You're our kid now, and I'm your fake
for
mommy.
them it's about the bloodline that's been passed
and like,
down. And if you have that
you wanna,
bloodline,
and
you're
everybody,
do you
like,
want to
the
risk your
idea-
life? Here's a dog to protect you. And it's like, this girl could die. One of her friends gets permanently crippled. His career is ruined. And no one prepares her for this because her so-called I always wished in my heart of hearts Kamala Khan was a mutant, because then the X-Men would take care of her and they would tell her, go to school, Kamala, and be a normal kid. And then we wouldn't have the Miss Marvel comics. So maybe not.
Medusa
but-
is not Xavier. She absolutely deals with things.
It wouldn't happen if it was Scott's X-Men, though. He's been a real dick for a couple of years. He would have been like,
Couple?
hey, come out to my secret base out in the Alaskan wilderness. It's really cold and shit. You're going to be really bored. And we're going to take you kids and we're going to go fight. But the thing is, I do agree with you. In the X-Men books, Bendis, especially on that run, was making an immoral dilemma of like, should these kids, these new kids, and now Uncanny X-Men, be fighting people? Should they be, like, Scott's gone too far. He's actually made these young kids.
And that is the
part of the
huge
team.
part of the division.
Yeah.
And with the Inhumans, it's like it doesn't apply.
But it also applies to most X-Men books before what you just mentioned. Like nobody had a problem with the New Mutants, which is one of the best runs of X-Men in the history of X-Men. That's a bunch of fucking kids getting into they literally die and come back when the Beyonder shows up. And that's not like you're right about all this if you compare the runs absolutely side by side. Bendis is next to Charles Soule's Inhumans, but again, I think we're gonna get too much into the problem of we're treating the Inhumans like they should be the X-Men, and we have this expectation of this is what mutants do, and we want the Inhumans to act like mutants.
Well, we don't have those expectations.
Well, I think you do, as far as you have the issue with Medusa.
Forcing those expectations on us, and yes, I do have that issue with Medusa, but maybe it's because on one of the covers you literally see Medusa. I can't even find the picture now. You see Medusa and Storm going head to head. They are drawing these parallels.
But you're assuming that because they're next to each other, that Medusa is as good a leader as Storm. Character-wise, Medusa's been
pitted against each other. Like Marvel.
Well, yeah, they're pitted against each other. That doesn't make them
comparison.
equal. Yeah, you make a comparison. That doesn't mean that you make them identical. Medusa is a way worse leader than Storm. So yes, she should be a worse leader than Storm. Medusa's been the most.
We're not supposed to compare them. Not at all. They're not the same people.
You're supposed to compare them, but we are supposed to see now how they act differently with the same idea. That's the whole point of two different characters doing the same thing.
I'm just saying it doesn't work. It doesn't compute because one is a bunch of pretty boy rock stars who have gotten the world handed to them on a platter, and the other have found out like a year ago that S.H.I.E.L.D. was keeping freaking those Immortals around to kill them.
Okay, my argument there would be, doesn't that make a more compelling story than two groups of the same ideology going up against each other?
No, because it leads to an inconsistent world. So you're okay with that? Like, that's cool, but this chick, that guy's fucking scary.
No.
Yeah, the world's inconsistent.
The world,
that's part
I
of
think
life.
You're bringing a really good point up. That this is more like real life, that there's these stupid inconsistencies of this thing being okay. It's okay that the current guy running for president is a fucking absolute idiot that has stolen tons of money from people that don't make any money, but yet the lower class are the people who are actually supporting him and getting him to win the election. Like, the world is extremely inconsistent.
We're full of false equivalencies.
And filled with PR spins that make... So you have... And this makes more sense to me in the sense that the Inhumans are royalty and they understand PR, so they're able to PR spin that they are what you want. That this is bringing the world... They are PR spinning it, whereas the X-Men are the underdog in this situation where they're the people on the street who can't afford to or can't be the people that stand up for themselves in the public media and the public eye, so they don't have that advantage, which to me makes it a more compelling story. If it was really similar and there weren't those inconsistencies, it wouldn't be as interesting, because then it would just be, two superhero groups going up against each other. I don't think it feels forced.
It just feels forced to me.
I don't think it feels forced because the Inhumans have been royalty for a very long time, and the thing is, you're not reading the Inhumans book where half of the world is extremely pissed off and extremely upset.
People are not
In
down
America,
with this.
the media has been able to spin it, but in a lot of other countries, the world is like, this has to stop.
Well, no, because in this book, they literally talk about how they go to other countries and how it's fine.
They talk about it.
They literally address that the Terrigen Cloud has flown over India, and look at me, I'm the Indian Inhuman, and Mumbai was fine. And it's like, right, but we're all happy the Hulk died because he was a menace, even though we've seen him save the world how many times?
You can see
giant
the
green
cloud
gecko
coming.
girl flying around is a lot more safe.
Well, you can see the cloud coming. Some people leave because they don't want it. People stay because they do want it. You can't decide if your 13-year-old is going to suddenly shoot blasts out of their eyes. That's also part of the difference, is that people in this world have grown up with mutant children accidentally blowing up schools, and the Inhumans so far have not done anything like that.
Not yet, but I think that's
not yet. They're gonna. I think
they're gonna, and that's. I mean, I think that's.
This
part
will
of
be
what
Scott doing
Civil War-
something wrong.
but there's
Inhumans
also-
versus X-Men will be Inhumans doing something
I also
really
think
wrong.
it's part of what Civil War is about too. Is he's the first Inhuman that's creating these questions of like, whoa, here, maybe this is.
Yeah.
Things aren't like what they should be, and that we shouldn't just accept the fact that because they're royalty, they can do whatever they want. And I think that they bring that up a little bit in Civil War too, like they are in this like weird space where they get a lot of leeway because of their political power, and that is something the X-Men don't have. They have no political pull right now, which is how the world fucking works. The people with the political power.
It sucks when every few years a giant firebird that basically represents you tries to destroy all of Earth. because that's a thing that also happens. Is
With
like
Avengers vs. X-Men.
Like in Avengers vs. X-Men, like the X-Men are like the Phoenix isn't so bad. The Avengers are like all we've seen of the Phoenix is it's a genocidal monster.
And Scott's like,
You
no,
know?
it's not too bad. And then he gets the Phoenix, kills the professor, and tries to destroy the world. But it's
And
okay!
then, and then the X-Men, who have given Jean like 14 apologies, don't ever let up on Scott for doing that. Like the X-Men know about the Phoenix Force, and yet they never forgive Scott for being possessed by a super powerful force he can't control.
Because they expected him to be able to, or in a weird way, it's like they don't expect Jean to be able to control it because they've tried for so many times, and Scott made himself the authority on all of that and acted like he was above it. Whereas Jean never wanted to, she wanted to save others by doing so. Scott thought his way of saving everyone else was to embrace it. So that's why I think he became a target.
She controlled the Phoenix for a really long time after Inferno. In
Oh
the
yeah,
90s.
and Namor destroyed Wakanda. Yeah, that
Namor
happen.
did destroy Wakanda.
And then fucking Wakanda dropped a planet on him. Fuck you, Namor. Hickman was like, here's a planet on Namor's face. Okay, well, moving on to some of the other books that might not be our picks of the week. I think I read Invincible Iron Man 14.
I did too.
And I was kind of bummed.
Why?
Because it was a lot of talking, which is a Bendis thing, of course, but it was talking about things I already know, and I didn't garner any new information, except for that very last panel. The very last panel was the only one of interest to me.
With his mom?
Yeah. Outside of that, everything felt very... It was almost like a recap book, in a way, like an emotional recap book. And I've been reading this book pretty well. It's only 14 issues in, and we're covering his emotions so heavily in Civil War that I felt like I know how Tony feels. I don't need the entire book to tell me again how Tony feels right now. That's all I've gotten for the last month. He's about to give up being Iron Man, and this is supposed to be the last issue of him being Iron Man. So I guess I wanted better closure on that.
Me too.
I wanted better closure, and it didn't feel
This
like
is the last issue of him as Iron Man?
Yep.
It
Next
didn't
week
feel like
it's
closure.
Iron Man #1 or whatever.
Okay, yeah, they definitely thought Civil War was going to end today.
Yeah. Yeah, because they even say, like, did you hear the news? Yeah. And it's like, nope.
This description, after the shocking conclusion of Civil War II, issue 5 of 8.
Yep. But that description is actually completely wrong. None of that happens in this book. None of that happens in this book. That would be for the next issue.
That's
None
15.
of that happens in this book. Yeah, it was weird. It didn't feel like a finality or a there was no closure at all.
It wasn't a good send-off.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not happy. I'm not happy in general. I guess, like, I understand that Iron Man needed a send-off, but it feels like this one was done in disgrace, and like, oh, he's broke and emotionally battered, and
Yeah, you think you'd want him to come to some sort of resolution with himself.
yeah, I would have wanted to see like
And he
I would have
doesn't.
wanted to see him say like, oh, this is gonna be my new goal. This is gonna be my new direction.
Right, he's a futurist, and he said this was him, like,
because-
reveling in the past.
And he even says that to Carol in this comic, like he's operating on a higher level, emotionally, mentally. What I love about Tony is he's always thinking of the future. He's always thinking of how humankind is going to be relevant in the future. When he goes to space and he sees all these other races and their technology, all he thinks about is how can I make human beings relevant in the future. And so for his comic to end with him being broke, dejected, and just like losing his building to the crappy fucking Inhumans, my heart breaks, because it's like, this is my favorite superhero, and I've been reading Iron Man for, I think, like, it was the first comic that got me back into comics when I started to collect them like 4 years ago. And I just wanted to see a better send-off, and I'm not, like, they didn't do a good job of setting up Riri Williams, because she got like 1 appearance or 2 appearances a couple of issues ago, and they weren't very enlightening. And now I'm just kind of like, I don't want to read her book. I'm going to, but I don't want to. It makes me upset, and it makes me less receptive to goddamn fucking Ironheart, because I have no context of why this is happening the way it's happening.
Thank you for resubscribed for 8 months.
Thank you. If there's any consolation you can take, it's that Iron Man will be back.
Yes,
We talked
of
about it.
course.
Tony's
He's still around.
Iron Man,
no,
but
he's
yeah.
still around too. I feel like he's going to be the mentor role in this book.
And maybe he has to crash and burn so he can rise from the ashes.
Yeah.
Which is that's just straight up wishful thinking, though.
Which, if you look at the last couple of years of his life, it's been a really fucking tough go with Arno and everything else. Okay, so we don't have much time, so we should get into our picks of the week. My pick of the week is Jessica Jones #1. I'm really excited to have this book back. and it's creating some more interesting questions that I feel like, okay, maybe Marvel does have a plan here. Because last week I talked about how in the Ultimates, Thanos seems to be able to remember the worlds crashing together and the incursions. In this book, Jessica Jones gets approached by by a woman who hires her to be a private detective to track her husband because she thinks her husband is crazy. Because he thinks he woke up 8 months ago and didn't know who she was, and said that he had a different wife whose name was Gwen, and they had a kid together, and he keeps saying Peter Parker is a liar. But yet we don't know who this guy is.
8 months is the time. That is.
And she's like, is my husband crazy? But I've seen these conspiracy theories online. She pulled out a tablet, and there was these conspiracy theories about multiple dimensions. And she's like, I know I sound crazy, but I've been living with this for 8 months, and he just swears that his life was different. And when he sees Peter Parker on the news, he keeps saying Peter Parker's a liar and all this other stuff. But he's married to some person named Gwen. And I was like, dude, what? So that creates an interesting question. The other thing is this starts with you finding out that she's on the run from the rest of the superhero community in a way. Because everyone keeps coming up to her. And I like that they write this in a way where they don't give you any answers. They lead you along and you know what's going on, but it feels kind of like old Jessica Jones with Bendis, where he's writing it a little bit more smart than the big beat-em-up comics, and it's very much, where's the kid is how it starts. Where's the baby? Where's the baby? And the superhero community keeps confronting her about this, and she's like, did he send you? And you're like, oh shit, so her and Luke are currently not together, and everybody's asking where the baby is, and then it just keeps escalating from there. So it creates an interesting setup to know that her and Luke are not together, and it feels more like this is picking up years after the last book ended, and not the TV show, and not the rest of the Avengers books and everything else. So I really like that, and I like that it feels like a continuation after years have passed, and not like it's trying to placate to the TV audience at all.
That's really cool.
So that's my pick of the week.
It's very interesting. So this is the first time they've acknowledged the multiverse in Marvel since Secret Wars.
Except for in that last Ultimates book.
Except for in Ultimates, that's right.
So I mean, that's 2 weeks in a row now where they've acknowledged
It'll be interesting if a lot of it comes out of this, though, because it's a very bold move for Marvel to be doing a big mainstream storyline that even at all dips into a parental advisory comic. Right, because you get people follow main storylines into whatever, and sometimes they're just 14. But it's also a bold move and shows a lot of faith in the property and in the adult-only comic.
Hey, AJ, I feel like there's more to this story here. I do remember that in a couple of the books that were happening in the last couple of years, she did keep telling Luke, like, if you go back to superhero shit, I'm out. I want our daughter to be safe. Like, and if you go back to superhero shit, I'm out. And maybe this is a direct causation because Luke went back, and he founded the Avengers, or, for the Heroes for Hire Avengers, and maybe she left because of that, So I think that there's hope there. I don't feel like something more nefarious than that. I don't think he would make it to like one of them did something really terrible to the other or something like that. I feel.
But it still is that right now the plot between Jessica and Luke is tension, not they're a couple. Like it's still part of the problem in fiction where relationships are not interesting unless they are bad. Good relationships do not make good fiction. They're just people sitting on a couch and not complaining to each other.
It's true.
And so I kind of have to agree with him that I do like I feel like the only way you get that is with Lois and Clark, and like that's it. That's the only couple we're allowed to have are the ones that are so old and established, and even those have all been undone.
Yeah.
That it's like, oh, okay, here's another one. You don't get, like, they finally gave us Lois and Clark and Green Arrow and Black Canary back. But it is nice that there are some things you can hold on to in comics, and they when you shake them off too much, then you lose that.
All right, Bronze, what's your pick of the week?
Probably Green Valley.
That Image?
Is that the new Max Landis books?
I don't know. I'm not a hipster. I don't read the name. Yes.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Hipsters care about who write their comics. Okay.
Image. Got it. Just looking for that so I can find it here.
Yeah. There it is. Second one. Green Valley. This is the new Max Landis book.
Interesting.
I like the way this reads because it almost reads like a D&D campaign. It starts out with 4 sort of knights, and they're like the heroes of the realm, and it's really cheesy when it starts out, and I really like that. There's some comedy. They kind of make fun of each other, and they're dealing with like a barbarian army. But here's the realm. I mean, like they're famous, like 4 versus 400, and they win type of thing. And I love it. It's really funny and kind of campy. It kind of reminds me of Rat Queens when Rat Queens first started, except it's a little bit more PG. Like I said, campy. And then towards the end, like just at the very end, shit gets real. And it basically ends with, well, I'm not going to spoil it, but basically one of the characters decides he's going to walk away from this life, and he kind of makes a bad choice. And in that moment, everything goes wrong, and he suddenly, like, just basically shit hits the fan. And it actually says it right on the cover. It all began with one mistake. But the cover was really dark, and then I opened it, and it was just so jokey and fun, and the art is absolutely amazing. And yeah, I really liked it.
I could see him doing this book, considering everyone in his friend circle is now currently huge D&D nuts.
Oh yeah, it totally reads like a D&D
it's his
campaign.
It's his exact friend circle of his.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And I just loved like how the theming changes from like green hills and like all this beautiful, like everything is great. The Knights of Good in the realm. And then it just goes south so quickly, and then everything's on fire and it's awful, and there's blood and death everywhere. And I didn't expect that, and I liked it. It was
Blood
good.
and death everywhere.
It's my pick. It's awesome.
Cool. All right, and let's get to Scott. I definitely want to check it out, though.
Oh man, it was really hard to pick today. It was almost Superman, but Flintstones had to be the one to beat out Superman today for my pick of the week. Flintstones is so unapologetically smart and subversive in a way nobody expects. This issue was about marriage and how in Bedrock, marriage is new. And the idea of monogamy is new, and people are not down with it. And so they're like,
a preacher on the cover or a monk?
Well, yeah. There's this sort of like monk who's like, you guys gotta get married, and people are like, go back to the sex cave. That's what we used to do. Apparently, you would just go to a sex cave and breed. That's how it used to go. And so
sex
marriage
caves
is
and breeding.
Marriage is
Flintstones.
unnatural. Yeah. And so marriage is unnatural in this world. And so like, they go to like this sort of group of married couples where they sort of deal with the fact that they're kind of alone and they don't have a lot of other people with them. And then a gay couple shows up and is like, can we get married too? And the preacher's like, oh hell no. And then everybody's like, wait, why are you being such a dick? And everybody basically abandons marriage throughout the issue. Like they decide to stay together, but they're like, we don't need a piece of paper. And people are like, why? I don't understand why. We need to get married. And the guy's like, well, you don't want them to leave you before you get old. And they're like, what are you implying about our relationship? Like, what? It's really interesting how they sort of deal with that. And then there's this great little 2-page story at the beginning. In the first 2 pages, where we see like the birth of domestication, where a tiger realizes that being subservient to a human is better than starvation. And so this is a great panel where this like caveman dude is hugging a saber-toothed tiger and is like, I love you, kitty. And the tiger has this thought bubble that just says, I prefer you to starvation. And that's humans and cats. In one book.
So that's your
Flintstones,
big pick of the week.
super duper fucking good. I do want to mention that Superman today was an issue dedicated to Darwin Cook. It's about Dinosaur Island and in the New Frontier. And so Tomasi and Gleason dedicated this issue to Darwin Cook, and I thought that was really sweet.
We didn't get did any of us read Eclipse #2? Because I know you and I read the first one.
Yes, I loved the first one. That was on my little pile there.
Yeah, I've got my pile there. I didn't get a chance to read that one.
Didn't get the chance to read it.
I didn't get a chance to read the
I
new
did
Valiant.
read the New Champions.
What'd you think?
I actually liked it.
And Scott, you didn't like it, right?
Oh no, I didn't actually read it.
Okay.
I just sort of thumbed through it thinking, because I don't necessarily have a lot of attachment to these characters, and with Big 2 I follow a lot of characters if I don't recognize the writer. And I do recognize Mark Waid, but anyway, I just sort of flipped through it to see if there were any characters that I was curious about. But I mean, it's a thick book and the art looks solid in it. That's kind of all I can say about it.
What do you like about it?
I like it because it's 3 heroes, well, towards the end it becomes 4, who kind of feel disenfranchised from the current Avengers movement, because it's like, you know how you have a friend circle and everyone keeps fighting and they lose sight of what's important, and then you always have that 1 or 2 friends that sit back and they're like, why are we doing this? That's basically what happens in this book. Is you have Miles Morales and Kid Nova have actually already quit the Avengers at this point, and Kamala basically joins the club, so to speak, and says like, I just feel like, they've lost sight of what's important. And it pops up, but in a very simple fashion. Basically, like, the big thing happens, and they save the day by, grabbing a train car that's flying through the air and all this stuff, and there's all this death and destruction, and Kamala's like, okay, well, let's fix it. And the Avengers are just like, well, that's not practical, it's gonna take too much time, we have bigger things to do, and she's just like, people hate us because we have these big giant fights in their neighborhoods, and then we leave, and the little guy is who's suffering. Like, people have livings to make, like, businesses get destroyed, people have their rent to pay, and they're just like, yeah, well, tough titties, kid, and she's just like, well, I quit. And they're like, what? No! And so she goes off and she joins Kid Nova and Miles Morales. And what I like is they do focus on fixing things, and for young kids, this is better, that they should focus on the nitty-gritty, on the smaller details, because at this point, there's no one in the Marvel Universe who's doing that.
I'm really curious how Vision's daughter comes into play.
She comes into play literally because
she's super fucked up in the book.
Is it Miles who plays video games with her? Or is it Kid Nova?
So I said I just flipped through it.
No, it's Amadeus Cho. Amadeus Cho and her are like League of Legends buddies. And they play like video games together, and these.
Dude, wouldn't she be like unfucking beatable?
Yeah, basically.
Amadeus Cho was also.
And he's also
he should
super
be too.
smart,
Yeah.
but she's like literally.
Yeah. Well, they like play together. I'm sure they're like on the same team, and it's mostly because these guys decide like they need someone who can tell them when something big happens, so that they can go and help. And who better than her? She's wired into the whole internet, so. She tells them right away, like, oh yeah, like look at these text messages I found about girls being held kidnapped, and they help, and it's awesome. The only thing I didn't like is at the end they kind of shoehorned in a bunch of other young heroes, including Riri and was that Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur and the young Scott.
Well, this is targeted to.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted a smaller, more concise team.
It was just one page. They're not gonna throw all those people in this team.
It's already on the cover.
No, Scott.
Scott's
But I don't think that they're gonna throw Riri and Devil Dinosaur, like Moon Girl, in there.
I do.
Really?
I think they will.
I think they.
I think this is gonna be the core team. I definitely think at the very least they're really playing up Riri and Moon Girl. That I expect those two to show up. I'll bet Wasp shows up for a little bit, then goes back to the Avengers.
Yeah.
If they were gonna be in the book, I figured they would have put them on the cover because those are two big. They're more of a draw than Scott and Cho right now.
Yeah. It's not a bad point. I didn't actually read the book, but I was flipping through, so I stopped if there was panels that particularly interested me. And the ones that I loved was when they went to go get Viv and have her join the team, because like Bron said, Amadeus Cho is just a friend of hers. So there's this hilarious little scene where the team it's Kamala, Miles, I don't know Nova's real name, and then Cho as the Hulk behind them, and they're just at the door and they're like, is Viv home? And there's just like this Vision wife that's just like there. It's like, ooh, let me get my daughter for you. And it's very much just like kids asking somebody if they can play, but they're superheroes asking if their robot friend could play. And it's pretty adorable.
Interesting. So, but I think the way I read this at the end is less of it being a core team and more like a movement.
This is the future?
Like a movement, which I think is interesting because that's like a younger kind of youth-generated thing. It's like we're not like necessarily together, but we're using the hashtag champions as like we're all part of the same movement, rather than being like all in the same space.
This might be like the 5th comic book of young heroes that I've read in the last 2 years that ends with Twitter liking them and then trending on with a hashtag.
Well,
like it happened in Teen Titans, it happens in Champions, it happened in Gen Zero.
Well, this isn't the way I read this. Isn't other people saying that they like them? It's other young heroes.
Well, either way,
it's part of the team.
Either way, it's young heroes being validated by Twitter. That is the trend now. Is that when you need to be validated and you're a young character, Twitter will validate you.
I'm
writing a story that's doing this right now,
that's
so
like
I can't really be critical of it.
Real life, bro. That's real life.
I guess like I said, I'm writing a story that does that too, so I can't be super critical of it. But it's just like this is what's happening now. It'll be funny because we're gonna read these books in like 15 years and be like, remember when Twitter was in charge of how everybody felt about everything? And that's kind of how it is.
Well, I go back and read the old Spider-Man where he doesn't know what's going on in New York till he picks up the paper off someone else's, webs up the paper.
I don't know, it's a fun book and I'm excited to see where it goes.
I hate the logo.
I don't like the logo either, it doesn't really fit them.
It doesn't fit.
I can agree with that.
It's the logo from the Contest of Champions video game, right?
Yeah, that's what worried me, and I was like, are they just doing the game thing again?
I guess. And it's just a logo.
And did you read Moonshine?
I did.
What did you think of that?
Moonshine was fucking weird. It's like the weirdest comic I've ever read.
Really? Oh, now I really got it.
It's
I'm curious.
basically like
Brian Azzarello and it's
a
super weird? Oh,
mobster sends his agent
Brian Azzarello.
to the middle of nowhere, to literally like the boondocks, to acquire moonshine for his clubs. And it's yeah. This comic is one of those where the first comic was just the setup, but basically this bootlegger is definitely more sinister than he seems. There's hints of a werewolf at one point, and basically he shows this sort of agent of this main mobster. He shows him like a closet full of like eviscerated dead bodies, and he flicks him an FBI badge, and he's like, "That's what happened to the last guy who tried to fuck with my business." And this agent guy who's been sent to the middle of nowhere to try to acquire this high-end moonshine is basically left with the feeling of like, oh fuck, what's gonna happen now? But then it ends with like an image of the full moon, and there's a lot of themes going on. And also apparently our main character has blackouts, so I don't know if maybe he's the werewolf, or if, but we also see the werewolf at the farm of the bootlegger. I mean, there's a lot of things they're kind of hinting at, and none of them we know yet.
This is my kind of book.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really stylized, but it is weird, and that's why I didn't feel comfortable talking about it, because it's one of those I feel like I need to read 2 or 3 times to try to get all the little nuances. But yeah, I really liked that one. This one I wasn't a huge fan of. This is literally just about people turning into cannibals and eating people, and it's just really weirdly written, and I wasn't like a huge fan of it. But the last one to wrap up with, since I read all the Image number ones today, Romulus I really liked. This book reads almost poetically, and it's about sort of an ancient, so first of all I'm going to show you guys the logo at the back because it's freaking awesome. Where'd it go? Yeah, this is their logo, which is super cool.
Hey, Chum Chum Jim, want to empty that cup?
And it's basically like a sort of sisterhood of female assassins, and they work for, the best way to describe it is the Illuminati. Their hand is behind all of the major events shaping the world. And basically this Illuminati decides that these women could be better replaced by a new super breed of more disposable men that are kind of just jacked up on steroids. So this, and the organization's name is Romulus. So this character, this she-wolf actually envisions herself as a wolf whenever she's in trouble. She kind of just like imagines a wolf doing what she's doing. And the whole thing is just really poetic. Like the way it's written is almost prose, and I don't exactly know how to do it justice, but
looks interesting.
It's awesome. It's awesome. It's a lot about with girl power, and there's some really cool action scenes in it. And I'm really excited to see where it goes, because it's like, it's just so striking in places I can't wait. So actually, I really liked this one.
Cool. All right, well, thank you guys so much for tuning into graphic content. That's all the time we have today. I'm going to get packed up and ready for a flight. I will be doing Honesty Hour tonight with Alex, but it might be a shorter one because we really do have to get up at 4 a.m. And
you just got back, too.
I know, I am
always
so
on the
beat.
run.
I'm so beat.
Always on the run.
Really beat. Really tired. So yeah, thank you for tuning into graphic content. Coming up next is Watching Paint Dry with Viking Lass. You should definitely tune in for that. Going to be painting some of the new mechs and some other great artistic stuff. And after that, we've got Shadowrun Corporate Sins. We are on the tabletop spotlight tonight for that show, so definitely be here to represent all the awesome, and let's keep these wonderful sub trains going. We are still giving away Steam keys every 5 subscriptions, and I believe we still have like 1 more of those books to give away that we'll do after we get 10 more subscribers. Oops. So thank you guys for that.
Free books.
Bye everybody.